as fuck.
No,
So.
the round tables, you can do whatever you want. My name's Henry Confidential, and it's a round table. We're just gonna sit and drink, and literally, who cares? We're just gonna talk movies and let the flow go naturally. So just to continue what we were doing, so Basketball, that's one of those movies that similar to Super Troopers that I actually did watch at the beginning of the pandemic, because I was like, I just want to watch something, kind of just lighthearted and chill, but also a first time watch. So I watched that, and I was like, yo, this movie's awesome. And like not from like nostalgia, you know what I mean? That's just me legitimately just thinking that movie was awesome. So Basketball and Wayne's World are like two of the ones that I have not seen, but have been brought up so much that I'm like, they're after the 80s, because I've noticed that 80s comedy, aside from Airplane, essentially is like the only pure comedy that I actually like from the 80s, and 70s, like Holy Grail, like more satires, like, you know what I mean, but the pure like quote unquote studio comedies, I don't really like any of those, or they're just more boring. The humor doesn't work for me. So the 90s, I'm like, all right, so Wayne's World and Basketball and honestly South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which I've seen clips of it, so I know that, I'm not really a South Park guy, but at least I know the jokes, and I know I like the jokes. So, and Beavis and Butthead Do America. There's a few where I'm like, all right, these are 90s, but like, even though like I was born in 93, so I don't consider myself a 90s kid, but like, even though I am, it's one of those weird ones where it's like, in terms of where your mentality was for that. But anyway, I feel like I'll like those, but you still never know, because they might be dated, especially if you watch them for the first time. So for example, Antonio messaged me earlier. He's like, hey, I finally watched The Big Lebowski, which, spoiler alert, is my favorite movie of all time. And he was like, I like it, but I didn't love it. And I was like, let's just start there. The fact that you liked it is good enough for me, because it's one of those movies where it's like you either have to accept what it's going for. Because I explain it like this: The Big Lebowski is like The Office, the first season or the first two seasons. You have to like really get in on the joke, and then once you're in on the joke and you hear it over and over again, you love it. So The Big Lebowski is the same way. Most people love it on repeat viewings.
I'll definitely agree with you on that, because the first time I saw Big Lebowski, I was in college. So actually before college, so I was about
Apparently that's 20
15.
years ago. We just found out within the last couple
Yeah, yeah, you can basically carbon date my ass. Yes, I get it. But the first time I saw it, I didn't like it because I didn't know what to expect.
Did you think it was a sports movie? I guess that's a first.
No,
Okay.
that one I didn't. I didn't think that. Like I saw a lot of bowling in the trailer for sure, but the trailers just made it look nondescript, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then when I saw it, it's like.
Actually, I'm curious. That makes I keep going, and I'm going to bring up the trailer, because I've never seen. I don't think I've ever actually seen the trailer, so I want to watch.
Yeah, the trailer is just is about like kind of like the Pepsi version of the movie itself. It's kind of some of the zaniness, but like half the calories. Jesus. But so when I finally when I finally sat down and watched the movie, it's like, the fuck is going on? And I saw it with someone who had seen it probably at least like 10 to 15 times. So she was like shouting quotes in my ear as I was watching it, and that didn't help for my enjoyment at all.
Well, let's watch the trailer and let's see if it evokes that memory.
It's just also one of those movies where sometimes the characters just come off annoying a little bit. Like,
okay, so that is another thing. Like I said, that's the Office style thing, where it's like you have to be in on the joke to understand why it's a joke, and it does grow. So like for example, the shut the fuck up Donnie thing, that's like reoccurring. Once you realize that it's not really bullying, that's just kind of who they are, and it's kind of funny,
right? But it's more about how like he's also just so adamant, like, oh yeah, these guys are doing this and that. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you really don't know what the hell you're talking about. And the funny thing is, he actually ends up being right, but it's still like, I'm just like, damn, man, really?
Fucking amateurs.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you even just bring it up, like, oh god, I'm laughing, and it's like, yeah, I've been drinking, but it's like, it's that good. But I'm curious to the trailer. I honestly, I legitimately don't know if I've ever seen this trailer. So let's see what it looks like.
I am not Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
Facts.
You know, that.
Look at this aspect ratio, though.
Oh yeah. The quality of trailers pre-2000s was trash.
Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
I love watching old school. Like,
a lot of narration with trailers.
Yeah, man, I love that stuff.
Is this your only ID?
Fucking fascist.
Your name's Lebowski.
I don't like your jerk off face. I don't like your jerk off name. I don't like you, jerk off.
Jerk off. Fucking fascist.
Fucking interesting, man.
Notes this morning.
Is this the original trailer? Because this trailer looks pretty.
Are these fucking Nazis?
This was the original trailer.
Really? Like
Yes.
I've never seen.
How do
the
you think I
original trailer,
feel after
but
a
this
Chinaman
looks-
took
this
my
looks
legs in
like-
Korea?
This could still come out like next year.
So you know the thing is, and
Please don't let it.
90s for 90s time. This
yeah,
looks
obviously
like a very modern day
I'm
trailer.
projecting here, and I'm kind of like assuming, but I feel like that's more Coens than anything. Like I don't feel like that's the studio. I think that the Coens have
I get
always
that.
been ahead of their time. They just know art.
At least
I
when they're
feel like-
working together.
Yeah, I haven't seen Macbeth, so I don't know.
No. But did you see the fucking? If you haven't seen it, please pull up the review that fucking Joel did of the movie. If you haven't seen it, hold on.
Joel's review of Ethan's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, while you're looking
Fucking-
it up, let's finish this trailer. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dirty onions, dude. The whites. Let's take that hill. Why should we settle for 20 grand when we can keep the
What do you
entire
mean we?
million?
I know, right? That's like you fucking
Playing
idiot.
one side against the other in bed with everybody.
Blow on them.
Fabulous stuff. What?
I mean,
No,
this is marketed as a comedy, right? It's not like
This
a
trailer is
thriller.
Oh, it's
this
marketed-
trailer's
no, it's
put
marketed
together
as a
very
comedy.
well. There's no narration. This is a great trailer.
dude.
Yeah,
I didn't
90s
recognize
trailers
Sarah Reed
usually
when I
are
first saw the
trash.
movie.
I would watch this movie right now.
Yeah. You ain't
I
gonna tell me
love
twice.
this movie still. But whatever.
Nobody
This is a very
fucks with
complicated
Jesus
case, Mod. You know,
except for maybe 10-year-old boys.
Is this your homework, Larry?
8-year-olds.
Fucking 8-year-olds, dude.
A lot of
No. See what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass?
This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
Yeah, TV version.
I have no choice but to tell these bums
Fascist?
Fucking fascist?
whatever is necessary to recover their money
I
from
Nice
fucking
marmot.
hate the
What's up with the
Eagles,
marmot?
man.
They were nihilists, man.
Take the
They
$4,
kept
man.
Nothing.
No, these men are nihilists, Donnie. They're cowards.
Yeah, dude. This movie, Saddam Hussein. Yikes.
You figured, oh, here's a loser, you know, a deadbeat.
Well, aren't
He's
you?
a Lebowski.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's good editing because that was not the scene, but it also is at the same time.
Love me.
Bro,
Love
Julianne
That's my
Moore,
road.
Vagina.
I'm throwing rocks
Johnson.
tonight.
We're gonna cut off your
It
Johnson.
don't matter to Jesus.
Who called up your Johnson?
I like how they put Totoro in there, but he's only in there for like 5 minutes less.
All right,
He
hold up.
really is. Like it's one of those that's so.
Even if you don't want to share my page, just
yeah,
let me read
Jesus is legitimately one of those concepts of just.
Did
like,
you guys watch
steals
that?
the show.
What was it called? Going
Ye-
Places. That movie.
this. No.
The Jesus rolls?
As written. In The Tragedy of Macbeth, director Joel Cohen slashes away at Shakespeare's text, distilling every scene to its furious essence. At 105 minutes, this is a shorter Macbeth movie than most. The best known lines are still there, of course. Is this a dagger which I see before me, and all the rest? But the story of Macbeth's murderous rise to power is told with ruthless concentration. The visuals are as stark and stripped down as the text. Wait, hold on. I don't know if this is the right one. Oh, it's not. It's Justin Chang. That's Justin Chang.
That doesn't
Hold on.
sound like Joel coming at his brother, my guy.
Hold on, where is it?
Farmer,
Review
refill my
Joel
drink.
Cohen. There we go.
Where's
There we
it
go.
going?
Hold on. No. Allison Carilla. Where the fuck is this? I know where it. I've seen this, bro. Hold on. I stopped sharing my screen.
What you drinking, big guy? Vodka Coke. Yeah, I mean you're muted. That's all good.
Oh, I must have knocked into my thing. But yes, if you've never, I said this last week or whatever, but if you haven't had a salted caramel vodka with any type of cola, specifically diet, just because that's what I like, it is
There you go.
fire. It doesn't sound good, but there's a Coke product where it's literally just Coke Zero or it's regular and zero, but with caramel. And I was like, that's weird, but I'm gonna try it because I'm intrigued. And I was like, that's pretty good. Now imagine getting hammered off of that. Yes, sir.
There you go.
Okay. In the
Always-
okay,
always the
I got
upside.
it. I got it.
Got it?
I got it.
Better be fire at this point. Suspension, the
Alright.
thrills.
Shut up, whores. Like, you want to know a good movie review if you fucking read it.
I read my own
Send us the
letterbox.
link. Send us
Yeah,
the
you
link
read
to
your own
Letterboxd.
letterbox reviews. That's completely different. Henry, share this pitch.
Oh wait, I'm the one that reads my reviews.
You're the one. In the tragedy of Macbeth, longtime Hollywood presence Joel Cohen, who has 18 prior films to his credit, takes sole creative control of a project for the first time. The results, not unlike the tale of Macbeth itself, is a tragedy of epic proportions. In the interest of full disclosure, my editor has requested that I mention that I was Mr. Cohen's writing partner, producer, and creative collaborator for the aforementioned 18 other films. I am also his brother. We parted ways prior to Macbeth in a split that the press described as a completely amicable one. Despite my prior association with Mr. Cohen, I feel that I am entirely capable of reviewing his work in a fair and objective way. Macbeth is Joel Cohen's shittiest movie by several billion light years. If all of the elephants in the world crapped into the same canyon for 100 years, you would still not have a pile of shit half as large as Joel Cohen's dumb as a dog dick rendering of this classic tale.
He's trolling.
One
That's
can't
troll.
watch Macbeth without getting the sense that something is missing. Some inspired element that gave Mr. Cohen earlier work an aura of ebullient
Ethan.
genius is absent this time. The wit, the verb, and undeniable rugged machismo that characterize the other 18 films in which he happened to be involved are nowhere to be found here. Ultimately, one must conclude that what's lacking is talent itself. Consider the very decision to adapt Macbeth. The choice belies deep insecurity. Mr. Cohen seems on some level to understand that he has the talent God gave a balloon full of piss and therefore needs to latch onto more talented artists like a lamprey sucking the
good.
life
I
out of
get
a
your point.
majestic
His
blue
brother is a
whale.
troll. No, that is bullshit. His brother is
A less insecure director might have been satisfied with the less esteemed piece of intellectual property, but Mr. Cohen glommed onto perhaps the best known play by the world's most renowned playwright in a move that screams, "Help! The no talent police are right around the corner. Please, someone rescue me before I'm exposed as a fraud who somehow fell ass first into a movie career."
Am I the
funny as
only
fuck.
Am I the only one who feels that Joel was consulted and gave notes on that review?
Oh, they definitely were definitely in on
they
it.
co-wrote that review.
They definitely did. They definitely did. It's still funny regardless.
Oh,
That's funny as fuck.
He fucking lights him up, and there's more paragraphs, bro. That's an entire fucking
That's why
it's
I
an
cut you
entire
off, 'cause I
fucking page.
assumed there was more. So I actually that's a fun one. So Coen Brothers is Coen Brothers is a topic that's one of those where it's like, honestly, no one is all in. Like, they're no matter what, regardless of how much you like the filmography in terms of top heavy, no one is like stans of the Coens, and that's just a fact. So what I want to ask, I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to start with Will. What is your most
Coho is a stan?
No, he's not. He's still, even just like me, he's top heavy. He loves Fargo, Big Lebowski, No Country. And
he's the only person I know who has ever talked about Barton Fink with adoration.
I mean, people do,
with the exception of Andrew James Barr.
Yeah, people do, but more in a pretentious facet. So, but I'm gonna start with Will. Will, what is your most overrated Coen Brothers movie? Because obviously it's easy to say the best, and that's common, and the worst, most people go with Lady Killers. But what is the one that you consider the most overrated? So like, it's clearly praised, but it's just is not your bag. And coming from the Coen Brothers, which is definitely a hit or miss like topic of discussion in terms of directors, I feel like this is a more interesting one. If you don't have one, I'll go to Abel or whoever.
So
I'll take mine.
I do have one.
Don't be afraid. The internet's not going to kill you.
Nobody watches Henry shit but Henry.
If I had to pick one, I would honestly go with No Country for Old Men.
Really?
Because for me, the Coen Brothers never stick to one genre, as we've
that's fair
seen. Like, I think that I really feel like The Lady Killers gets way too much hate. I actually enjoy that film.
I watched it for the first time a couple months ago. Kind of decent.
I laughed my ass off.
That movie's not bad. Go ahead.
For No Country for Old Men, for me, when I see a Coen Brothers film, I expect at least the same kind of energy. Like, I expected, like, if it was going to be a lowbrow when I expected at least like the kind of energy that like the man who wasn't there to have, like where it's just understated and subtle, but but it was a lower energy film, but all the subtlety was gone.
Yeah.
And for me, that's hard.
So I
So
guess
it
my
was
main
hard for me to
question
watch.
for you, because like I feel like this is just going to be the most common thing. Anton Chigurh is arguably one of the best characters from the 2000s, if not arguably of all time. So how would you combat that of saying that being the most overrated, whereas Anton Chigurh debatably is one of the best characters of all time? So Will, what do you have to say about that?
Well, just like you can have Anna de Armas in No Time to Die and have a great character in a shitty movie. You can have
Shitty movie. Wow. Is it
No,
not?
I
I
agree with that. I agree with that. No Time to Die is not great. I still
Watch-
think
No Time to Die is
watch
not
my-
great, but
watch
No
my
Time-
watch my
but No Country
Battlegrounds
for Old
match.
Men is not a shitty movie, bro.
Watch.
I'm not saying it's a shitty movie. It's not a great movie, and it's
I'm not-
definitely the lesser of the Bond
No, I'm
movies.
saying No Country for Old Men is not a shitty
I'm-
movie.
Right, and I'm not saying it's a shitty movie.
He said
I'm saying-
overrated.
I did say
Fair enough.
overrated. You're right, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a shitty movie. I do
That's all good.
enjoy the film, but if I had to pick one that I feel gets more praise than it absolutely deserves, I really have to go with that one.
Okay, and
That
then
one's just
the
really hard to
follow-up
watch.
question is No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood. Which one deserved Best Picture that year?
No Country for Old Men.
I will agree with that.
And you're still
Well,
going to
it's
say
not-
overrated? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So then it's not really overrated.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
everyone
no-
praises There Will Be Blood for no reason.
There's a difference between I think
hot.
what it
That's
is that you're
spicy.
trying to state. I think what you're trying to state is a movie that people over capitulate about, over talk about, versus what is an actual overrated movie. There Will Be Blood is an overrated movie. No Country for Old Men is a movie that people talk about but haven't seen more than one time, but always talk about it. That being said, I do think Anton Chigurh isn't one of the best movie characters. However, I do think he's one of the best movie villains. There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
That can be
He's one of the
great.
best
There can
movie
be
villains. And I also think
I said one of the two, but yeah.
how hard has
You did.
how hard has it been to make a decent Western after the
It's
year
not.
2000?
Look at Logan.
Okay, so since
Logan is a
question-
decent Western.
there's a few.
But
Even
No
the
Country for
remake,
Old
even the
Men
remake of
is in
True
the top
Grit is a
5
decent
Westerns.
Western. Logan is in
Seraphim-
almost everybody's top.
People cannot seem to cobble
Serenity
together
is a
good-
fucking
good
top
Western.
5 Western, bro.
Serenity is just a sequel to a TV show.
So here's a Western no one talks about that is one of the complete underrated films. And I'm not a big Western fan. Seraphim Falls is one of the
I've heard of it.
most
but yeah, I haven't
awesome
seen it.
Never heard of
Liam
it.
Neeson and Pierce Brosnan in a Western.
That sounds fire.
On
The
paper,
guy who
that
walks
is-
among tombstones and
What year?
fucking
Hold on,
James Bond.
Hold on, what year? That's
2011, I think.
that's
it's like
between
that's
Death and
that's
Crime.
borderline decent. Now it went down a notch, but that's still borderline. That's a because if you would have said like 2017,
Seraphim
hard
Falls,
pass.
2006.
Oh, it was
geez.
2006.
All right,
okay.
so
I
if you-
literally
any-
just fact checked you on that. Will, sorry,
anyone
bro.
playing Will release dates, put that on the wheel. 'cause
Release
apparently
it.
it's
You can watch
trash.
it for
5
free
years
on
old.
Tubi right now.
Holy shit! So yeah,
I-
2006. Now that is actually more intriguing. So with that said, other notable ones: Assassination of Jesse James, 310 to Yuma, the aforementioned True Grit remake, Hell or High
Yeah,
Water.
Hell or High Water. There's
Yeah,
a bunch of
so
good Westerns.
hold on,
but
this actually comes full circle. So I did a recent There Will Be Trivia where I did modern Westerns for quotes, and Jay was pissed. But I'm like, really? There's only like 10 that you're going to talk about. So at the bare minimum, you can guess one of the 10. And Jay was still like, nah, fam. And I was like, come on,
fam.
my guy. We can't even mention more than 10 right now. And we're fucking
It's
on
okay.
that topic.
I had to guess every single one of them, so it's all good.
Fact. You legitimately said 310 to Yuma twice. All right, so go, Ava. What is your most overrated Coens?
It's got to be Hail Caesar, bro.
Hold on. So I do you consider that overrated though? That you consider it bad, that's fine. But do you
It is-
consider
it is-
overrated?
it
Like
is
who's really
dog
talking
shit.
about that? Who's talking about that to be like rated?
When
Really?
it
You know what I
when
mean?
it came out,
Well-
when it came out, it got praise.
Fair.
When it came out, people loved it. See, it is a love letter to Hollywood. So every critic in Hollywood thought it was great, but
That's actually not true.
it's positively dog shit.
It's one of their lower rated films.
It's one of my least favorite theater going experience I've ever had.
I just hate it
It's one
because
of my
they
best.
gave the guy who played Han Solo for the new generation. I'm like, that's the reason why he got it.
Fuck, what's his name? Now I'm blanking.
Alden
Alden
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich, yeah.
Ehrenreich.
So I think Hail Caesar, to be honest, it's only overrated just for the sake of Abel bringing up. It's just because of where the Coens were at that time in their career, similar to Buster Scruggs. Buster Scruggs and Barton Fink are probably my two of my least favorite. Just
Buster
because
Scruggs is so bad.
Yeah, Buster Scruggs is bad and Barton Fink's is boring. I'm willing to give another chance, but on rewatch, it's just boring. So those are my two, like, bottom, even below Intolerable Cruelty and Lady Killers, because at least they're something to them that, like, you know, you can, like, latch onto for better or worse. But with that said, so, like, in terms of at the time of their career, Hail Caesar was, like, at the peak. Yeah, if you really think about it.
Caesar, it was a cinematic event almost.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You go in thinking that because it's like it's a movie about Hollywood. It's the Coens. Look at the star power.
It had this all-star
George Clooney coming back.
cast.
You know what I mean? ScarJo at the height of her powers, literally at the time. Channing Tatum.
That,
you know what I mean?
I'm sorry. That Channing Tatum musical number is just absolute fire, and no one's going to talk about it.
Like me,
it has
I think
good
Hail Caesar is
sequences.
Decent.
It has good sequences, but the movie overall is just so bad.
But it's not boring though, and I think that's a difference. At least the Coens are capable of making an interesting movie more times than not. I'll go see Barton Fink and Buster Scruggs. I disagree there, but for the most part, even with Intolerable Cruelty, the relationship between the two leads, at least it's kind of sexy, And then Barton, the man who wasn't there. It's at least kind of an intriguing like mystery. And even Miller's Crossing has gone up on a rewatch because of it's kind of got that that old school.
Miller's Crossing's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But
that's old school gangster vibe.
Has Sam Raimi in it too. I love that fact.
Yeah, those are still mids for me, but at least there's like something that I'm more likely to think of those in terms of like scenes, whereas in like Hail Caesar, even like you have the dance sequence, like you just said, or even like
so for me, Hail Caesar was the point where I was like, oh, so maybe Coen Brothers aren't as great as I think they are.
And that is fair. I think that is fair for most people. So
that's why I figure that's the most overrated.
But you're also the same person who said that Artemis Fowl is the worst or the best Kenneth Branagh movie because it reminded you that he's a bad director. So when it comes to logic, keep bringing that up. That's cool.
I'll defend it to my dying breath, even though I don't know why.
You couldn't even defend it then, my guy.
I don't care. I'll have another beer. I'll keep talking about it.
Facts. But until then, Jay, what is your? Because I know Jay is chock full of hot takes, especially with popular media. What is your most overrated Coen Brothers film?
Burn After Reading.
No, okay. So I will follow up with him. I feel like Burn After Reading is a cult movie. Like, sure, within the community, maybe overrated, and I'll give you that because it's one of those where it's a cult, though. But you got to think of the mainstream. I don't think that's a mainstream one.
I would like to defend my statement here. This is still a very popular movie by critic standards, not necessarily just by audience standards. It's a very popular movie by critic standards. And again, even just within the film review community, within the film trivia community, a lot of people hold this movie in high regard. You watch this movie, even on rewatches, you're like, I don't fucking get this. Yeah, the best part about this movie is Brad Pitt getting shot in the fucking face.
Shot in the face, yeah.
But you know what?
Spoilers, awesomely, but spoilers.
But at the exact same point in time, if I had somebody walking into my fucking room in a red spandex suit going, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shoot him in the fucking face too, whether or not they're hiding in my closet or not.
Brad Pitt, I'm shooting him in the face, but now with a gun.
Bruce Lee would have done it without a gun, unless Quentin
Tarantino directs the movie. No, he would get thrown
unless Quentin Tarantino directs the movie.
Facts. That dent in the car says otherwise. Antonio, what is your as someone who just saw Big Lebowski, so you're more than welcome to say that. What is your most overrated?
Thing is, and I even told you this before we started. Like, I need to see like most of their filmography. I think so far I've only seen like 4. So out of that, I'll just be fair. Out of that 4, yeah, I actually have to say Big Lebowski, but I'm only seeing 1.
So what are the other 3 though?
Fargo, No Country, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, that's okay. Not bad. Out of those 4, if I had to choose one movie out of those 4 that I thought was overrated, it would be the one that's based on a work that's not their own.
Right.
Which would be Oh brother, where art thou?
Oh, bro,
Yeah, I would also go.
That is
Oh,
That's
actually
like
Brother,
my,
that's a unique
out of
situation
those.
because I saw that like in school because
no,
it
no.
was
I'm
Right.
gonna, yeah,
lesbian.
I'm
So,
gonna
yeah.
let.
That's like a murderous row, bro. Let's be
So
honest.
Yeah.
spoiler alert. Oh, brother's gonna be my pick, but before then, and give us kind of like a little review of Big Lebowski too. While you mentioned
what-
like what's missing, like what
Yeah,
didn't
happens
click?
when you find a stranger in the Alps?
I don't know. But it's just more like I don't know. This is where I told you because I think it's a legitimate thing where maybe I need to see it when I was younger because
Mm.
I don't know some of the jokes just I feel like either went over my head or I just feel like came off annoying rather than actually funny.
But do you hate the fucking Eagles, bro?
Hold on.
Yes.
No, I love
Ant-Man,
the Eagles,
Ant-Man.
actually. Yeah.
Hey man, do you need a toe? I can get you a fucking toe, dude.
I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock.
I can get you a toe
With nail
by
polish.
3 o'clock
Green nail
with
polish.
nail polish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
no,
okay.
I get where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
Yeah.
people are obnoxious about this movie.
Right.
So
But
No, that's the
people
thing.
are
I feel
obnoxious about this movie in the exact same way that people are obnoxious about Back to the Future.
Yeah, or like Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction or
Guilty.
something. Do you know what I mean?
All in
Yeah,
my top,
also,
all
you
in
know
my
what's
top
weird?
50. So
I also
rightfully
saw
so.
this movie like in bits and pieces as I was growing up. I never saw this is the first time I actually saw it sitting down from like
Okay,
beginning
so
to end.
So
and
the
I
first
was-
question I want to go with that. What is so you said bits and pieces. So obviously you've kind of seen it multiple times in terms of like, like you said, bits and pieces. What is the one scene that was the most reoccurring that you've seen the most despite not seeing the film as a
I
whole?
swear to God, it's not on purpose because my brother watched this movie a lot. It's honestly the scene where they first introduced Julianne Moore and she's like, naked and painting and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
me.
Yup. Understandable.
And I
I'll
was
be
like,
right
damn,
back.
she looks fucking gorgeous. And I'm like, I love the hairstyle too.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, that got into like,
Bangs, Maud
right.
The
Lebowski.
sexy and mysterious is Julianne's Moors,
Facts.
Right.
which is where Key and Peele got that from. I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay, so
And then the scene with the I thought it was a possum, but they call it something else.
the
It's a
marmot.
marmot.
It's a
It's a ferret. It's a
Right.
ferret.
It's a
That and
marmot.
the bathtub, that I actually remember also.
We cut off your
Nice
Johnson.
marmot.
So
Right.
okay, so let's go on the opposite then. So this was your first time, and you were fine on it. We'll say mediocre. So if you had to give it a out of a 5-star rating, what would you give it?
Out of 5, I would say maybe
2.5.
a 3.
Okay,
Ooh.
so at the middle of the road, barely
Yeah.
fresh, like you said.
Like it was, like I said, it was good, not
Yeah.
great. Like I didn't like, I liked it, I didn't love it.
based on
It's
your
not
review, I would have
certified
been 3.5,
fresh, but it's
that's
not
fine.
rotten.
But that's fine. But with that said, though, what was the one that, even though you just watched it today, you said, right?
Yeah.
What is the scene that you think you'll still remember tomorrow? Like it just kind of stuck in your mind, where like, oh, that was the one. Like, regardless of what I felt about the entire film, at least that one is gonna.
Oh,
stick
the
with
one,
me.
I guess the musical part, or like the
The
dream he
dream
has?
sequence.
Yeah, the dream sequence.
The dream sequence
I
where
just-
he's bowling.
My condition,
Yeah,
my
right.
condition,
Condition
with
is
you.
in.
it's
Yeah,
it's so much
yeah.
fun. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
okay. So here's my question. Did you take that as like a drug trip, or just like him just being so fucking like out of it in reality that when he dreams it's gonna be wacko like
I
that?
thought he got drugs. That's why I was like, that was a drug trip.
Yeah. So
then I don't
He
wonder how
definitely
he
got roofied.
right. And then I'm like, what was the purpose of that? And why was he like run? Like, I guess he woke up from this trip running down the road, and then he got picked up by the cops. And
because you got to think about it. It's similar. So fun fact: two of my favorite movies in general from the '90s, let alone comedies. This and Friday. The same scene with Smokey when he smokes the PCP, and he's over there sweat like a slave in Debo's chicken coop. You know what I mean? It's one of those where you're just in the road because fuck Hector. It's just sometimes when you smoke a little too much or you do it a little too much, shit gets wild.
20.
Man, that's $100, man.
Like
Playing with my
drugs-
money is like playing with my emotions. But yeah, so
also seeing this, I'm wondering because again, the first movie I ever saw of theirs was Fargo, but then after that, the next movie I saw was No Country for Old Men. And my father loves that movie because he loves westerns and he just liked how serious it was.
So you haven't. This was the first technical. I mean, you said "Oh
Right.
brother."
But then Fargo's kind of like a dark comedy too.
Yeah, but
Fargo's definitely a comedy.
it is, but in its own. It's definitely a dark comedy because it's like
Dark
it's one of
comedy,
those niche
100%.
things where it's like you kind of have to like.
Because as a kid, I remember seeing that fucking the wood chipper scene.
The wood
like,
chipper
so
thing?
often.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
She's like, I got the star. Like, can you
Right.
put the top?
See, that's
I
it,
think
right?
the first Coen Brothers movie I ever saw was Lady Killers.
Okay.
Damn. So no matter what, it could only go up from there. So
Yeah,
actually,
facts.
you were-
Oh, I got you beat.
As a
My-
kid, I thought that was an
Is
awesome
Will about to
movie.
say the first Coen Brothers movie he ever saw was Blood and Chocolate?
No,
Miller's Crossing.
it's weird. My first Coen Brothers movie, and I didn't even know it was the Coen Brothers when I saw it. It was the Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh,
Oh,
yikes!
that's
You
a
know.
terrible movie.
I
It's
love
kids.
that movie.
No, Bloodsucker Proxy's good. I really
thought
I
it was
love
so
that movie
bad.
so much.
But I've only seen it once.
So that's why I'm always down to talk about the Coens, because the Coens are literally they are
Yeah,
just
they're
their own thing. That's
so
like
divisive.
yeah, like you could literally have a debate about the Coen, but you could literally have 10 different debates and say what is the best and worst Coen brothers, and like have that as a question, and you will get different answers almost every
Yeah,
time.
you
because
could
it is-
every
literally
single
debate whether
they are the definition of
whether Artemis Fowl is the Coen Brothers' best movie.
Nobody
if the
should
Coen brothers-
ever say that, Abel.
If the Coen brothers I will say this, I am on record right now. If the Coen brothers directed Artemis Fowl, someone will have watched Artemis Fowl. I will say.
Then you. I think you're saying.
I
you.
mean, I did, but that's
Fucking
I
Dan
did
Piranha stand over here. So
I did not watch Artemis Fowl.
clearly, we all watched your debate, my guy. We know you did not watch Artemis Fowl. But before that, so Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Oh Brother Where Art Thou? It's like I will say, good movie. It's good. I like the chemistry amongst the three. It's George Clooney, John Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson. I liked their goofiness, their bumbling stupidness. Stephen Root as the blind guy at the band, whatever he is.
the band, the record.
Yeah,
John
the
Goodman's
record-
good there.
Yeah, John Goodman was Cyclops, and then just I think my favorite scene is essentially the horrors, the temptation, the white, you know,
The sirens.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Sirens?
basically
from the Odyssey, yeah.
right?
It is
Yeah.
no. It's
I couldn't remember what they
it's
were
not
technically
essentially.
called.
It is. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's,
It is
it's
the
a
Odyssey,
literal
but then
movie.
this- yeah.
It's a movie version of the book, The Odyssey.
Okay, I have a question. You get just one answer. I'm going to go one at a time. One answer. You only can pick one. Okay, so I'm going to start with Will. Which is a better adaptation / reimagining of their property? That's the best way I can phrase it.
Okay.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou for the Odyssey, or Mother for the Bible? Will.
I kind of have to go with Mother.
Abel.
I mean, Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Because Mother is okay.
Don't do it.
Oh Brother
Jay.
Where Art Thou?
Jay.
We're not going to get into the reasons why Will is wrong, but oh brother, where art thou?
Antonio.
I had to say, "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" because I haven't seen Mother. I just know that Jennifer Lawrence gets naked in it. That's it.
She doesn't get naked. She gets
Fucked
fucked up. I just watched
See her
it.
boobs. That's all I heard.
I just so fun
Yeah, I
fact.
can see her boobs without watching that movie though.
You can, and it's also not. There was one of those things. I'm like, was that like one of those things where they kind of CG'd it or like dubbed, her face over or whatever?
Oh yeah,
No, that was her. Yes, and then also in Red Sparrow, yikes!
That's her.
When she gets naked, it's not for the sex.
I know it's
Jennifer
not.
Lawrence
It's
does not
to make
get
a guy
naked
feel
for
like
sex,
shit.
yeah.
There's
Pretty
a
much.
weird motherfucker who gets turned on if you see her naked in that movie. I'm just
You have to, because the only time you see it is when she's getting beaten up and fucking destroyed. But so fun fact, I rewatched Mother last night with my lady friend, and she was like, I want to watch a horror movie. So I sent her screenshots of some of my favorite horror movies, like in terms of just based on Letterboxd, my highly rated one. She's like, oh, Mother, I know that one. And I was like,
do you though?
like, I love it clearly,
sure.
but like, it's not for everybody. And then at the end, she was like, I don't know how to fucking feel about that. I'm like, yeah, that's
I don't know
fair.
why I chose that movie.
That is fair. I'm surprised we went to Pound Town after this. Before the third act happened, we took a break. But Will, I will say, what is one?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Fetus eating does not get you in the mood.
It was before that. I definitely waited. And literally, as soon as okay. So we're gonna get a little graphic here. I swear to God. Before when we came back downstairs. When we came back downstairs, we didn't pause the movie, so it kind of continued at that point. When we came back downstairs, about 5 minutes came by, and that was about to happen. And I was like, let's just put it this way. You wouldn't have got fucked like you just did if this scene would have happened as it did, because it would have turned you up. And she was like, I don't know, I can get fucked after anything. And I was like, eesh. But then
Not after that scene.
And then she watched it. She was like, nah, you might be right.
You're right though. You're right
Jesus
though.
the blood, the body of Jesus is literally getting eaten, my guy. Like, fucking, oh my God. But anyway, Will, what is your most divisive movie in terms of like, this is a movie that you watched and you were like, I don't even want to ever talk about this again, and ironically, I'm making you talk about it again.
Avatar.
That's
Is that
fair.
just because of
That's-
fandom?
No, I hated this movie from the first time from
The
like
James
right after
Cameron
like
one?
walking out of the theater. I hated
Avatar,
this
or
movie.
not Last Airbender, right? Avatar.
No, Avatar.
Okay, just making sure.
okay.
Not
James
James
Cameron's
Cameron's
prequel to the
Avatar.
18 other movies that he has that won't come out before he dies.
Like
Love that
I
movie.
I remember getting into
Did
getting
you say you
into like
loved that movie?
I love that movie.
Oh my god, you're
Not
a fucking
the Cameron one, yeah, for sure.
We'll get into it. Go ahead, Will. I'm
Yeah,
curious.
Rob, I want to hear that.
like if you could tell it was a labor of love. You could tell like it was you could definitely see where the money went, but you could also see that the money didn't go to fucking hiring a scriptwriter. And like I wanted to like this movie. I wanted to. And as soon as they uttered the phrase unobtainium the first time, I groaned so hard I thought I was gonna get ejected from the theater. And it just didn't get better. It's like this is minute 30 and we still have 2.5 hours. Fuck my life. I hate this movie so much. And and at the time I got so much flack for it. And it's like now finally people are understanding, oh, I might have been right in my original assessment.
Okay, so you can only pick one movie.
Okay.
Avatar or 2005's Crash.
I'd watch Crash
Oh,
1,000
Crash.
times.
I've watched Crash like 10
1,000
times.
more than I'd
I'm
watch
not gonna
Avatar.
lie. That was a loaded question, at least on my end. Crash low key fucking slaps. I don't get the hate for it. Brokeback Mountain is better. I will still admit to this day, but Crash is awesome. They can both be great. Like it's one of those where it's like that is. What
I
it
mean,
is.
they can both be great. Crash isn't great, but I would still watch Crash over fucking Avatar any
You
day.
guys are on something else. Wow.
You a Crash hater?
No, I just love
No,
Avatar.
he
Okay.
fucking blows
defend
James
Avatar.
Cameron.
I would rather watch 1996's Crash over Avatar any day.
That's still a good movie too, though.
That's,
Come on, anything is great.
Yeah, you know what? He's still watching a good movie over a bad one.
Cronenberg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cronenberg. Yeah. Abel, hold on, real quick. Let me pause the video. You got some blue right here on your chin. Oh no, that was you in the Avatar. Just why are you in defense of Avatar?
Listen, okay, so maybe it came out for me at like the perfect point in time. Like maybe I was the perfect
Let's hear
age.
When he was drunk.
This
Yeah.
was. I'm
Any
drunk
movie
now.
for
Who
that.
gives a shit?
Hey, any movie's that
turn it
movie
on,
for
let's go.
Abel.
This
Yeah,
movie
let's do it.
did
Let's do a
everything
watch
right
along
for
of
me.
Avatar right now.
No,
We'll all fall asleep.
we'll either fall asleep or get.
Oh, I
too
won't.
drunk.
I will talk shit throughout that entire thing.
No, I want to hear. I legitimately want to hear. I'm curious. Like, let's defend
My
Avatar. That doesn't happen often
dad bought one of those 3D TVs, which worked
at the time.
like shit.
Yeah.
They didn't work great at all, but whatever. So me and my
Jackass 3D
friends were
wasn't
all
fire
sat
on that
on the
TV?
couch with these dumb goggles on,
Yeah.
watching Avatar like every week. We were just watching Avatar because we were just so in love with it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't give it up. This is one that this is a hill I'm willing to die on. This is a great movie.
So I have a question. I have a legitimate question. I'm not trying to be a
Go
dick. I have a legitimate question. Is it that you like the movie itself, or you like the memories of hanging out with your father?
It wasn't with my dad. It was with my friends. But yeah,
So I guess what he's asking is Avatar legitimately like positive / love for you because of nostalgia? Like even though it's not childhood nostalgia, it's still a sense of nostalgia.
So obviously it's gonna be nostalgia. People
Right.
love the Star Wars prequels. Let's be honest; those movies are fucking
they?
terrible.
Some weirdos do like them above the original trilogy. They're far and in between, but some do. But yes, I get your point.
And
So,
so it's all about nostalgia. Obviously, I love Avatar for like the world that it transports you into.
but
I
you
love
legitimately have a
revisiting
love
that
for it,
world.
though. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna turn my brain off and just go into my childhood. You still genuinely like it as a film.
I
objectively?
genuinely enjoy the movie for sure.
Okay.
People love Point Break.
Yeah, because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
What do you
but
mean?
Point
Point
Break
Break
isn't trying to be up its
It's not
own
a
ass
great
about
movie.
its
I am a
environmental
Navajo
message.
agent.
Like, hold on. My biggest issue with this movie is that it's trying to not only be Ferngully and Pocahontas, but also Dances with Wolves at the exact same point in time, but in outer space.
And whatever.
I will say this. I don't like that defense.
And you can't call Last Samurai and Avatar the same movie whatsoever.
No.
You know why? Hold on. Do you know why? Because I don't need a giant machine that transfers my consciousness to become a samurai, where you can embody that. Hold on. That's just it. They care. Because if Jake Sully wasn't that, they wouldn't fucking take him seriously. And the fact of the matter is, had none of that happened, they would have been bodied for their unobtainium. What it comes down to is,
you know way too much about this movie for shit on it.
It's perpetual black, because if I'm gonna talk shit about a movie, I want to at least know enough about it to talk shit about it.
That's me.
That's do about the Bible.
That's me and Watchmen. That's me and Watchmen. I shit on it all the time.
You are in perpetual blue face, trying to be like, "Hey, I'm a good person," even though that's not your job, that's not your mission, and they don't want you after a certain fucking point. And you come back and you try to help, and they still don't want you, and they're doing better without you than they are with you. Your movie is literally a white savior. Yeah, there's an issue with white saviors in The Last Samurai, but it's not as large, and it's definitely not as prevalent as it is in Avatar. Where
I appreciate the fact that you've thought a lot more about this movie than I have, and I
this was my dad's favorite movie as well.
I concede your points, but also I'm not gonna shy away from the fact that I really enjoy the movie.
I'm not trying to knock you for liking it. What I'm doing is pointing out certain things that I don't like about the movie,
and feel that way. Bro, that movie just
it was my dad's favorite movie for 3 years before he died. So I watched that movie a lot because I wanted to spend time with my dad.
Did you ever tell your dad that you didn't like it?
Oh, of course. After the fucking first time I watched it with him, I was like, this is bullshit. This is the fucking stupidest movie. I was like, this is Ferngully. Bro, I was like, you can watch a cartoon and get the exact same message in half the time.
It's not even got Tim Curry.
Yeah.
This is what I want to say earlier. So this is a fine line to draw, because it obviously it's on a movie per movie basis. But I don't like the argument of X wouldn't happen without Y, or Z, or whatever the phrase. Whereas this is a ripoff of other movies. That's fine, and that's coming from a Tarantino stand. So obviously I understand that the majority of Tarantino movies wouldn't exist without other movies that he's essentially either homaging or blatantly ripping off. So I don't like that argument, because you still have to create your own narrative. With that said, the narrative within Avatar is bloated, over the top, and not as interesting as I would want. It's still beautiful to look at, and it's not an atrocious movie, but it is not what I think it's trying to be, and it's not what I think it could be, which is why I'm still willing to give the second one, not the third, fourth, and 1,000th one, but I'm still willing to give the second one a chance, because I still have faith in James Cameron as a whole, because he's hit more than he's missed. Yes, go ahead.
So I feel like this movie, because it was also trying to be dumb fun, the story is not altogether there, but that's what makes the dumb fun of enjoying the world, enjoying the big scale battles and stuff, just that much more enjoyable. I feel like that's why the movie was such a big success.
See, my big problem is that if it was just dumb fun, if he was trying to make a film
Pacific Rim style,
or even going back to James Cameron, if it was as fun as say True Lies, I would have loved it.
Yeah,
but the problem is that it just
I don't think it's dumb fun. I think it's serious, and it's just
I think he's trying to make it serious. My thing about it is. Give me a second. Sorry. I had to apply medication, and I keep going like I'm doing coke, and it's literally just pulling fucking medication in the back of my fucking head. My biggest issue is
Henry's doing coke all over the place. So don't worry.
I mean, I wish I had enough money.
Unfortunately,
to do
it's
coke.
just snowing outside. It's fucking cold.
I think one of my biggest issues with this movie is that it tried to have this overarching giant serious fucking plot when it is more specifically, even just from an outside perspective, if you look at this movie and you just read a guiding of what this movie is supposed to be, sounds like it is an over-the-top science fiction movie, not some moralistic movie about God and humanity and man versus machine, which it ultimately ends up being.
Does the tree represent like the Garden of Eden or any of those?
No, the tree represents God, bro. It's literally named. It's literally a fucking acronym, or it's literally an antonym for fucking Yahweh. Awa is what the tree is. Awa is what the tree is named, and that is literally just a scrambling of Yahweh. It is overly religious. It's overly zealotous. If they had just taken Giovanni Ribisi and instead of making him a head of a fucking scientific corporation who had decided that they were going to take ex-Marines and put them into this position, and it was a purely scientific it was a purely scientific mission, this movie could have been way more entertaining than it actually was. But the simple fact of the matter is he tried to make it dumb fun, which it shouldn't have been. That movie should have been a little bit more serious than it was. And then you try to shove a moral story in on top of it. You're trying to do too much with this. And on top of that, you're adding 3D to it. And that's my biggest issue with it. Is because everybody knows that 3D is a gimmick. Nobody's doing fucking 3D anymore.
3D
died. 3D began and died. 3D
Passengers
in the new
did 3D
age,
pretty well. I'm the one of the few.
in the new age.
This is
began
2009.
and died with Avatar.
This is 2009. This was the movie that did.
It doesn't matter. 3D hasn't made a resurgence since then.
So I think we can agree though. It peaked. We can say it peaked at this.
Yeah.
Or Jackass.
I was gonna say Jackass 3D did it better.
You don't like them?
Not saying a lot.
Them 3D phallus penises. So I'm gonna go
if
one.
I
one
want
time.
to watch somebody's testicles explode in 3D, I will literally just go on a fucking category in Pornhub, bro, and watch a VR movie. I don't give a fuck.
One time around the table, and then I have a follow-up question. Will.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Avatar 2?
And I can't go negative numbers, right?
I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's a free country, my guy.
Okay. Let's say -3.
I'm going to go to Abel last. Antonio.
0.
Jay.
Blaze it. -42069.
Wow.
High five.
I'm going to go a solid 6 just because, like I said, I have faith in James Cameron, and the story had promise.
I haven't had faith in James Cameron since the early 90s.
Yeah. Your release dates are trash also. Abel, as a
fan. You guys are such haters, bro. I'm happy you're with me, Henry. I'm also
hold on, pause. I'm not with you. I'm just
I'm not gonna go higher than a 6. I'm on a 6.
See, that's what I'm saying.
That's still even too high.
Even you are with you. All right, so here's my thing. Now I'm ready.
Bro, we're 12 years out when this movie was supposed to be out 7 years.
That's why I'm not.
No,
at like a solid 8.
What, bro? No, this movie was supposed to be out 7 years ago. We're supposed to be at movie 4's almost release. You can't even blame a pandemic for this. The simple fact of the matter is these movies are not built for right now. And he keeps trying to force these movies out, and it's just going to continue to create an entire fucking genre of movie that nobody wants to continue to watch because it's environmentalism porn that nobody cares about because we got this in the early 90s.
I am far more interested in watching another slew of Avatar movies than watching the new Lord of the Rings TV show.
Okay. I did not know that you were dumb. I love you, bro, but I'm not even hyped for the Lord of the Rings TV show, but I'm still more hyped for the Lord of the Rings TV. The Lord of the Rings TV show is here, right?
50 feet pile of shit.
And way the fuck down here is any sequel that Avatar is ever going to come out with.
I don't know, I can watch
I get
more
to be
Avatar movies.
Submerged in a fucking deprivation tank, a sensory deprivation tank, and I become a part of that movie. I don't care.
Okay, so I want to clarify one thing for you with my answer. The reason why my answer is so low is because like I feel like there is no end to the Avatar sequels. Now, if James Cameron had said, "Okay, I'm going to make 2 more, and then I'm going to be done with Avatar," I might be
He
willing.
did do back to back though, right? That I'm not crazy. He did film back to back.
Nope.
Or started.
He tried. It didn't work for him. He tried.
I have not given these movies a lot of thought, to be honest. So
There you go.
Stop trying to protect them so much. We
Okay.
get it. You have a special love for Avatar.
Right, so I want to go on to
That's all
the.
I'm saying.
I'm gonna aim the target towards me right now. So
Okay.
I will admit this.
Everybody roast Henry.
I am.
We just spent the last 20 minutes roasting Abel.
bro, you can roast me all you want. I really don't care.
So I'm prepping for a
I know.
debate
I love
right
you, brother.
now. I'm prepping for a debate right now. But hold on.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Let me just do a fact check right now. I might have to not say this. Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah. Hold
Grab
on.
that beer, Abel.
Yes,
What up, Jordan?
What up, Loose Theron?
You know what? It's about time you start saying it right. You've only seen it about
Okay.
115
I
times.
can't say what I was about to say. I will admit, just so I can't say what I'm about to say. So I will just.
I can't
divert
say
it.
what I'm about to say, so let me say what I'm about to say. So
No,
I can't.
I
say
really can't say what I was legitimately about to say for ethical reasons. So what I will divert it in Batman. Okay. I'm hype on the Batman right now because I'm about to do a watch along of the entire Batman series because obviously the Batman's coming out. I will preface this with the only one I haven't seen yet is Batman 66. Everything else I've at least seen once. Okay. And I at least legitimately have an opinion on, regardless of where I lie.
I hope so. It's on your chest.
Just can't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So other 66 though, I didn't.
It would have been pretty funny if you're like, I've seen like 2 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think I did this because I've seen 66? No. So my point is though, I'm leading up to the point. Yeah. So I haven't. Other
it's
than
only taking you 8 minutes to get there.
That's how long it took for Avatar to come out with the sequel. So
that's not true. That took almost a decade and a half.
No, it came. In 8 minutes, he was like, "I'm coming out with a sequel." It's just it took him a decade and a half to start filming them. But with that said, So I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go around the table, and when it comes to Batman, start off with generally speaking. Do you have a hot take? Just say yes or no. And if so, what is your hot take just with Batman as an entity, regardless of what it is? Jordan, do you have a hot take with Batman?
I don't know if it's such a hot take. I do like my Batman being the non-killer Batman.
Make sure you get what you're looking for. Just the mic thing. You, as always, I'm gonna get you a mic. I swear to God. But, so
me and Henry gonna go 50-50 next Friday. I'll get you a mic, bro.
No, we also got to get him a table because he's got to set that mic on something.
That's fucking fair.
That's definitely a behind the scenes inside joke. But not even a joke. It's just a regular conversation. So you like your Batman non-killing? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Why?
So let's start there. What is it because of just who Batman is a person, or who you as a person is as an audience member that Batman or AK your superhero cannot kill?
No, I don't think it's a personal thing. I think it's more of just I've always found that pretty noble. What was Jay doing?
No, Jay's third, so he's just got to understand the concept of round the table. Just round the table.
Oh, okay.
But keep going.
No, I've always just found that to be an interesting take on, he's a witness of murder, and he wants to be above that. And it's the kind of law that he goes by, even though obviously there's the argument of it being, sometimes saving somebody ends up to leading to more murder in a way, if you will, to put it kind of vaguely. So I like that he tries to be above it to a degree.
I'll ask a follow-up question and just answer honestly. I don't know the answer. I'm just asking you. Is there really a superhero that doesn't have that general morality? Like, that's not necessarily Batman in terms of non-murder. Like most
Punisher is not a hero.
Yeah, he's a vigilante. I'm talking about pure hero. Like no one's gonna debate that Batman's a hero, not a vigilante. I mean, obviously he's a vigilante in the eyes of the law, but so is Spider-Man. But in terms of like comic book fandom, superhero-ness, is there any superhero where they're like, yo, murder is preferably or even arguably 100% a no?
Peacemaker.
He's arguably a villain.
That man literally said he would eat dicks if it brought world peace. I don't want to hear it. If you eat dicks, you're killing somebody.
I can live without my dick, even though I wouldn't want to.
I do see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a lot,
you could
Jay.
say it's a.
Chill out.
It's a
If this
it's a
entire
through line in
beach
most of them.
That's what I'm saying. So,
covered in
like, for you to
pieces.
have your opening thesis essentially is like, hey, I need my Batman to be non-killing. It's like, I mean,
Oh, no, you said hot take is the first thing that came to mind. I like that
yeah.
that battle of morality of.
Okay, so you're the
Do I kill the Joker or not? I like that. It seems that it's more forefront in his story.
So I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question on the opposite. So are you anti Ben Affleck Batman, who technically may be pro murder?
No, because it's a different take. Plus, I'll never knock anything Ben Affleck does.
He's still Batman, though. That's my point, though. I mean, he's still Batman, which goes in the argument.
I just like I said, I like that take of that fight of the morality of, what is the right and wrong thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that take when it's forefront sometimes.
Did you watch Geely?
Hold on. Did you watch the Nolan trilogy?
No, he just broke a few necks. He didn't quite kill them. They might have died in post, but they didn't quite die.
He literally also threw people off of buildings and down. No. Christian Bale's Batman murdered people, bro.
No. He literally said, "This isn't going to kill me." Exactly. No, but I'm going to go around the table. Will, hot take in terms of Batman films, in terms of like liking or disliking. Do you have a hot take in terms of an opinion on one of the films?
I'll take it a step further because I do have a hot take.
Okay.
I will go so far as to say, like, beyond Batman 1966, that there really isn't a single, and there isn't a single version of Batman so far that's actually been a detective, and that bothers me because Batman was always a detective. He starts off in Detective Comics, like. Maybe Keaton's, at least with Keaton's performance, it was kind of there in the first one, but by Batman Returns, it was an action film. Nolan's film, action. Like, I like it, but it's not Batman to me. Batman is a detective.
Do you think this Pattinson one will have more of that?
Hold on. Before you answer that, I'm about to do something that I don't like doing, and that is defending the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
I had a
because
feeling.
I don't fucking like those movies.
I like.
There is a lot of detection. There is a lot of detective work in those movies.
Say this,
I have a heart. There's a fine line between being a detective and using
resources,
gadgets.
Yeah, he's more of a gadget guy. I feel.
You see,
he's known for his gadgets. The one thing he's known is for his utility belt. That's exactly what he does, is using gadgets. You're just expanding on that.
Shark repellent, my guy.
If we're gonna talk about that, the only reason that he even found out about the Joker outside of the random fucking rambling that Alfred had about someone who was talking about something that was the size of a tangerine was the simple fact that he literally took the exploded view of a shell that had the fingerprint on it. You can say that that's using a gadget, but what are detectives if not somebody who uses?
But the problem is that
he still had to come up with the idea to do it.
Arkham game.
I'm not finished.
Okay.
So fucking calm down before y'all jump in. At the exact same point in time, you have him doing his detective best in probably what a lot of people say is the worst movie, and that's The Dark Knight Rises. After Selina breaks into the house, he's like, oh, well, she's doing this. It's more fingerprints, but everything is about fingerprints nowadays because biometrics is what everybody thinks is the most secure. But he's doing this and he tracks her down based on what? The fact that she is a thief, the fact that she's trying to disappear her tracks.
He literally finds out she's Selina Kyle and not just the house.
This is coming from somebody who absolutely despises all three of those movies. I think those movies are the most overrated.
For me, though, the detective aspect, in all of the Batman films has taken such a far back seat, though, that it just doesn't feel the same. Like the Batman video games that Rocksteady has done, I feel does a much better job of making the detective story upfront and engaging.
But that's because they have the ability to create a 48-hour storyline versus a 2-hour movie.
So yeah, So before I ask my question, I will say, if Batman was a TV series, I don't think anyone would doubt it would be a technical detective story. I don't think
that's not true. We all saw Gotham. That shit was trash.
Gotham wasn't. It wasn't Batman though.
Gotham was trash.
Batman. Yeah, but it wasn't Batman. It was hush. So my follow up is, if you had to pick between one of the two, and you had to describe Batman in one word, or / one phrase, because they're technically 2 words, but would you pick detective or crime fighter? You can only pick one. Which one are you picking?
I don't think you can choose one without.
I'm asking Will because
to me personally, I think I think that he's more of a detective than a crime fighter.
I think he's I think he's the best crime fighter because of his amazing detective skills.
As an individual who, like Henry, has a bat symbol tattooed upon them.
Right here.
Show it.
Flex, my G. No, don't take it off.
Let's go.
Yes.
Bam.
I don't want to hear this. You can't have one without the other.
I know, but I was just being combative to him, where he was trying to negate the detective aspect.
No, but I don't think that you can have a crime fighter without the detective nature of him.
Spider-Man has a police scanner, so you technically can. So
Batman doesn't have. Okay.
But my point is technically you can. So I mean, in this scenario, no.
I feel that Spider-Man has often been a better detective than Batman in the film.
I also feel that Spider-Man really only detects between like a 36 by 36 square block radius of a neighborhood and not an entire city. So I don't really want to hear that.
Hey, he reps Queens till the day he dies, my guy. It's all right. So with that said,
that's why it's not your friendly neighborhood Batman, okay?
And it's also why it's not your
if you heard friendly neighborhood Batman, you're on something.
Because Batman's not talking to you, but he's also neighborhood Batman, not city of Brooklyn or New York Batman. But anyway, Antonio, because I'm skipping Jay because I know it's going to go on for too long. I'm going to go to Jay last. I'm going to ask you. But Antonio, hot take wise, do you have a hot take when it comes to Batman in terms of the films?
I guess maybe this is like a 2-for-1. I think Val Kilmer is the best Bruce Wayne, and possibly also the best Batman. And I think the score of
Val Kilmer's sexy. Okay.
Yeah, I think the score of Batman Forever, which was Elliot Goldenthal, is probably the best one. That's just my opinion. But I can never. I don't know. I think maybe because it was also the first. Maybe it's nostalgia because it was the first Batman movie I saw, Batman Forever.
That's fair.
But the score, I even just rewatched it like a few days ago, and that score just always get like the Batman theme because it's not Elfman's. It's borrowing a little bit, but his new score for Kilmer's Batman and then also Clooney used it was fucking amazing.
So it's one of those where the film holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler to what my future hot take, but yes, when it comes to just when you close your eyes and you hear those scores, that's the first one. If you hear like 10 in a row or however many, that's the one that's like, hey, Batman, or like what do you?
Yeah, that's the one I was hearing about. That's the one I kind of wish, like how like everyone thinks that John Williams' theme of Superman should be. Well, I mean, most people think it should be carried on and not really. No one thought Zimmer should really do his own thing, but that's just I don't know. It's just a whole another discussion. So I thought maybe that score, even though everyone loves Elfman's theme, I still thought that Goldenthal's score should have been carried on, and used as Batman's theme. That's just my hot take. So
that's it. I mean, that's
medium spice.
I like hearing. I wouldn't say it's a hot take just because I don't think anyone's gonna hate you for it, but I do. Mm-hmm. I love that. I just love hearing you say that though. That is awesome because it's like that is definitely an opinion. Like, wow, that's a perspective I've never heard before, and not because of like any reason other than that's just interesting and it's new. Abel, do you have a quote unquote hot take in terms of the Batman identity franchise film wise?
We'll see. I think Ben Affleck is the worst Batman.
Hold on. Just a follow up. Batman, Bruce Wayne, or all of the above? I mean, that's important. Okay. Why? Let's give him a second. Why?
I just really do not enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. He's just so disinterested. The movies are also very bloated and just completely off the rails. I just think he maybe he didn't get the shine he deserved, but I just don't like him as Batman.
But is this more the movies or the performance / the
also
character?
Also the performance? Okay, so especially in Justice League, I just don't care for him at all.
Did you hold on? And this is important. Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
I have seen the Snyder Cut. I love the Snyder Cut. I just still think Ben Affleck's Batman has nothing to do in those movies. He's completely out of his element. I think the Snyder Cut is great, definitely, but I just do not. I just think Batman looks like a weak piece of shit in those movies.
Oh, weak. Hey, did you see him deadlift? Or no, that was American Sniper.
Have you
Did
seen
you see
the
him pull that
animated
sled?
series?
Did you see him pull that sled? My guy was yoked doing them pull-ups. Come on, my guy. You see his dong in Gone Girl? He's fucking got it. Ben Affleck is ripped.
He's got it going on. I'm just
saying.
His
dong in Batman Dark?
You think he's pulling Jennifer Aniston and J-Lo because he's not packing? Ben Affleck and Batman's got it.
Part of an ensemble team, I feel like he's
4.5 inches.
This.
Hey, midgets think it's cool. But being an ensemble, though, that's not the problem in terms of Batman, though. Like, I'm separate. I know, and this is a tough question. I know this is hard for a lot of people. Separate the character, which is the question, let me rephrase. This is technically your answer of Ben Affleck.
That's still going to be my answer.
But so here, I can't think of a good example, or just because I'm watching it right now, just in the background. I love Jackie Earle Haley in Watchmen, but I fucking hate Watchmen. But I will never deny that him within the movie is still good, despite me hating that movie. So that's what I'm trying to ask. Is it possible?
I just think it's preposterous for people to say Ben Affleck is the best part of Batman v Superman. I think that's just ridiculous.
But is that you having beef with the fandom and just the what they're saying in terms of they're over the top?
He has fuck all to do in that movie. And he just doesn't really.
Have you seen the Ultimate Edition? I guess that's also another question. Have you seen the Ultimate Edition or just the theatrical?
I've seen all the editions. I've seen the cuts and the editions, and it's all there.
Wow, I just don't agree. I mean,
nothing to do, huh?
Hold on. Here's a disclaimer for all the audience. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yada yada yada. What I'm saying is,
until Jay goes, and then he's.
I love Avatar, and I hate Ben Affleck.
I'm confused, and it's not even the drinking thing. I'm just confused. Like at this point, 2 + 2 is not equal 4, my guy.
For me with Ben Affleck, I feel like his Batman was not one of the best, but his Bruce Wayne, I feel, was
detective skills is fire. He was able to read those thumbnails, and he was able to see all the Justice League members he knew because of the thumbnails. They had pictures. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah, he got
for me. I feel like his Bruce Wayne was on point. His Bruce Wayne was amazing.
Yeah, in comparison to Jesse Eisenberg.
I don't care for his Bruce Wayne either. I think Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is way better, miles better.
Trash opinion. Trash opinion.
Okay, Jay's is being belligerent.
No, hold on. We're gonna go to just one at a time. Will, keep going. I am curious. I want to hear everyone's opinions on this in response. This is a good one.
Okay.
Will, no, keep going.
Oh, me keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like Ben, like it's one of those things with me. Like I always try and figure out if when there's a superhero movie, is the actor good in both the alter ego and the main character? So was Tobey Maguire good as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man? Well, yeah. I'm with Jay. He was a good Peter Parker. He was a terrible Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, flip. He was a great Spider-Man, terrible Peter Parker. Tom Holland is the only one who has been able to do both.
Agreed.
And to think you're 40, I am so confused with that take. You're the opposite of that take. No, continue though. I'm so confused right now.
Well, you're 40?
Yes.
March 29. Not yet.
Bro.
March 29, 1982. So in a couple of weeks, I will turn.
Bro, you were 25.
Okay.
Same.
Me?
Same. That's what I said. Okay, no, I said 27 to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we all said like 27.
No,
Well,
Anthony
listen,
said
well,
32. But anyway.
I cannot have any fun with Ben Affleck's Batman. I cannot have any fun.
I
with
will.
it.
I will.
I can have fun
accept
with
that
George
point.
Clooney's Batman. I love Michael Keaton's Batman. Val Kilmer is great. I love the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I think even like Batman Mask of the Phantasm, I can have a lot of fun with that
Did
movie.
you say you love Clooney's Batman?
No, I can have fun with Clooney's Batman.
Oh, okay.
That is a difference. That is a difference.
I can have a lot of fun. I can have a lot of fun with Clooney's Batman, bro.
Abel's like, I will put my credit card between George Clooney's cheeks, and I will.
What's always a little unfair with this conversation too is, unfortunately, Affleck never got his solo movie. I feel like
it might have been different.
Very different. I think you would have been able to see that much more Bruce.
Bring it closer, Jordan, because you have a good point. Bring it closer to the mic. I'm loving what you're saying, but bring it closer to the mic.
His charisma could have came out more as Bruce. I feel like we unfortunately got such small time to really see even his Bruce and Batman. I feel like it's hard to compare.
So I will follow that up with my favorite parts of Ben Affleck, just as generally speaking, is the all the stuff that he had with Gal Gadot. Oh my God, what's her Wonder Woman? Diana. With Diana. Because it was just specifically Diana. All those scenes with Diana, there was something about it where like clearly that was him being a detective, but like not being on the nose and like, hey, I'm being a detective. He was literally doing it like low key, and he was figuring out who she was. And obviously, as later on, him and Alfred.
Are we not here?
That's where you go.
Yeah,
that's
because I think
straws not a performance that never really got anywhere.
Not Barry. Not the man.
No, I'm not even talking about Just League. I'm still talking about BVS just for this scenario. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it's like we started off the rip where he was still having a time to shine in terms of like stepping out and
great. Maybe he could have been great, but as it stands, in my opinion, he's the worst Batman.
And okay, and so I will like just lead off by
most
saying
disappointing. You can call it most disappointing.
Yeah, and so I disagree, but like hearing your points, I accept them. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like you're a wild boy.
God.
Like there was a black cat across. It's not a glitch in the Matrix. I literally believe you. You know what I mean? It's normal. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Might have been a glitch, bro.
Unless the same black cat runs across in like the next 30 seconds.
I have two of those fuckers, not to freak you out, but they look identical. So just so
I'm glad I'm not.
As another one runs across.
I'm glad I'm not smoking dope right now because that would fuck me up. I can handle two cats on alcohol.
Just so you know. There you go.
It did it.
All right. Jay, Jay, we'll end off on you. What is
I'm not gonna try to make this short.
Shit on the Dark Knight. Shit on the Dark Knight.
Let's hear that I'm about to shit on the Dark Knight.
No, you have to.
So, well, I definitely will, but it's not just going to be an entire shit on the Dark Knight train.
All right,
I don't like the fact that we're talking about a Batman who does not kill, because for the first fucking 10 years that this dude was around in the Detective Comics, you know what he ran with? A fucking 6-shooter. You know what he did in his first fucking comic book appearance? Hung somebody from the fucking bat plane.
He also had Spider Noir.
He literally bricked the KG Beast into a sewer and starved him to death. I don't want to hear this bullshit that Batman does not kill. That didn't come about until the 60s. He had a moral code.
Peace, love, and war, baby.
My hot take is you need to stop trying to ground Batman as a relatable superhero for everyday human beings, because that's not what Batman is. Batman is the peak of physical performance of a singular human being who still catches so much help from aliens, from gods, from interdimensional beings. And the fact of the matter is we continue to try to make him a relatable superhero here on Earth. He's not. Stop it. 90% of his fucking rogues gallery outside of the first 30 years, which includes the Joker, Calendar Man, Condiment Man. You get where I'm going with
Lego
this.
Batman.
the Riddler. But we're talking about a whole bunch of people who don't necessarily have a whole lot of superpowers. But we're not talking about the fact that Superman literally built this man a suit of armor so he could fight Darkseid in the core of the sun. Stop trying to make Batman this grounded fucking hero when a majority of his stories for the last 60 years have been him fighting the Green Lantern, have been him fighting Darkseid, have been him fighting fucking Superman, have been him fighting a whole bunch of interdimensional beings. Stop doing this. Yes, I know why people are like, look, let's make him a more grounded, let's make him a more relatable hero. He's a superhero at this point for being a superhero. But he does not fight normal everyday beings the exact same way that he fights every single one of his other enemies. And all we do is say, hey, look, here are his street level villains. Stop doing that. Batman is literally the smartest person on the face of the planet. The face of the planet. Not within the planet. I'm not talking about the Question. I'm not talking about John Jones. I'm not talking about any of these other alien individuals in these hyper intelligences. But this man works himself to almost death and still outthinks aliens on a daily basis in comics, in regular movies. Most of his ground level villains are doctorates. They're masters in their fucking arts. And he still finds a way to not only beat them, but try to help them. Batman is not an individual that you need to have street level interactions with. This is a man who is trying to work himself up to a higher plane. And yes, gets help from deities, gets help from aliens, gets help from interdimensional beings. But stop trying to make him this relatable superhero, because he is like the Punisher of the DC comics. He is not the person that you want to be associated with. He doesn't want you to do what he does. He does it not only out of his sense of justice.
He's not the hero we want. He's the hero we need.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Okay, I have one question.
What's up, buddy?
What is your favorite MCU movie?
Ooh.
That's very left field.
A weird left turn.
No, okay.
Ride with me.
I understand, and I think I know exactly where Henry's about to go here. Okay. My favorite MCU movie has been and will
something very grounded.
Hold on. Shh.
No, it's
Trust
not.
Me, Be
but
true to you,
because Henry knows exactly what I'm about to say, and he's gonna be like, "Well, he's not grounded in that movie." It is the Winter Soldier, but it's the most grounded movie that we have for Captain America.
Oh, so your favorite MCU movie
is
the most grounded and spy level movie within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you fuck.
Hold on. The Winter Soldier
the Dark Knight of the
Winter
Marvel
Soldier
Universe.
is not a ground level supervillain. He is not a street level supervillain. He is somebody who has almost taken out the Black Widow. He is somebody who has been a fucking secret.
Is Winter Soldier not the bane of the Marvel Universe?
No,
let's be honest.
He's not.
Yes, bro. He's probably more. He's probably more ground level than.
Is Winter Soldier not the bane?
He's
of the Marvel?
No, he's not. And do you know why he's not? Because you don't know about. Because you don't know about the Winter Soldier in comics. All you know about is the Winter Soldier from the movies. And that's the thing about it. Because he becomes the Watcher on the Wall, and he becomes the one who defends Earth from a majority of the giant fucking aliens that take place. But you only want to talk about what happens. You want to talk about what happens in the fucking movies.
Winter is coming, bro.
You guys all have you guys all read too many comic books.
Yeah, you fucking.
Yeah, you're right. I have, because I was a nerd growing up, and you know what I got to do? Read fucking comics and beat the shit out of people who were like, "You're a fucking nerd." Like that's
pretty
all
violent.
I did.
That is actually the best of both
That's
worlds.
what Batman did, bro.
That's the best of both worlds. Because you imagine actually being a nerd
did,
and beating up the bullies? That doesn't happen often. That is actually a comic book in its own self. Jay?
Bro, hey Jay, you might be a little bit of a superhero yourself, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, I did survive my skin melting, and I'm still here. So
hold on, Jay. Jay, but are you a detective? Because apparently that's important to Will.
Sometimes I think I would like to be, and I can Google. So yes,
Hey, Henry,
because apparently,
you got
if
a
you're
different
Christopher
topic
Nolan,
for all
that's
this?
all it takes.
I was gonna say Jordan Anderson, but okay. What was that, Abel?
You got a different topic for us to discuss?
Yeah. So, my follow up here.
As the sun rises above Abel's head.
Oh yeah, that's for real.
All right. That echo's getting wild. Hold on, shit. Who's echoing? All right.
Is that me?
I don't know.
Yes.
Someone's echo is
It's
wild.
probably Abel. It's either Abel or Ant-Man.
Check.
Check.
Yeah,
It's
Abel.
Abel.
That was Abel out of nowhere, though.
me,
Like
right?
you've been here
It's
for a
Abel.
while.
Yeah, it's you, baby.
That was just a weird random. I think we're
Am
fine.
I still echoing?
No,
No, I think it just
No.
tweaked out. All right. Oh no, there it's back.
Oh,
All right.
it's JPO.
no, he was muted the entire time.
Oh.
So
Abel, mute yourself.
yeah, just for a second, till we figure that out. No, it's also
Oh
JPO.
no,
It is JPO. I knew it.
it is JPO.
JPO, are you recording? What are you doing, man? I'm paranoid.
I'm
Oh,
playing
that's
with my
JPO.
settings.
That's
Wow.
JPO. You're
JPO,
fucking
it's
funny.
JPO. Abel, it's not you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
JPO, you're trash.
All right,
Oh,
does this sound better now? Does it sound better now?
Hold on.
Abel,
Hold on. Oh, look. What do you fucking know it? Yes. JPO
Abel,
learning StreamYard.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I didn't learn from my own mistakes. I didn't do my own detective work. Kind of like Christian Bale didn't do his own detective work in any of the fucking Nolan movies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fucking accuse you.
All right. So my
Come on, guys, this is getting long.
Yikes.
That's what she
Shut
said.
up, JPO.
All right, my legit question.
It's mean.
So, me and Austin over on Let's Rank Stuff, we just rewatched Del Toro movies or watched for the first time. I rewatched Blade 2 for the very first time in a long time, and since we're talking about comic book movies, I feel it's the most popular or the most relevant. Blade, for me specifically, Blade 2 is a movie that it's one of those that a lot of people are like high on or they're not. On rewatch, this movie's fucking awesome. Blade 2, and that's not even as a Del Toro like stan, quote unquote. It's just like just objectively speaking. I'm not even like Blade as an identity is good. You know what I mean? He's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not like a diehard by any means.
Everybody
But
loves Eric Brooks.
I mean I do more than his mother apparently. But
Don't
I do-
luge.
yeah, yikes. But yes, Blade 2 was a lot of fun, and that was a movie that like this was the first time I watched it in I think almost 3-4 years at this point, and like it's not as dated as like I would have expected it to be. Like it's one of those where it's like, yo, this movie. I don't want to call it underrated because obviously you know some people do. It hasn't. I don't want to say a cult following, but like a niche. Like yo, this is like a top tier one. You know what I mean? Because people want to bring it up. But what is a movie that from the comic book realm, like, you know, I'll just spoiler, you know, first person bring it up that you get to bring up, like Constantine, for example. Like a lot of people want to bring up Constantine in terms of like the comic book movies. What is a movie similar to like Blade 2, Constantine, Hellboy, you know, etc., where it's like, hey, that is the one where I'm like, not enough people bring it up and like give it praise. JPO, what is like your, I don't want to say niche. I technically don't even want to say underrated because, you know, you never know depending on how people feel. But what is a comic book movie you feel like doesn't get talked about enough that you want to just give some love right now?
I mean, up until recently, can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, dude, I'm loving the mic. Let's
All
go.
right. It's been here the whole time. I should have done
You
this first.
I'm actually legitimately mad at you right now the whole time.
I got so much shit.
I would have loved if you just said, yo, I actually just bought it right now.
I just want to just Amazon. Remember, I was opening a package earlier, and
All right, go ahead. What do you got?
up until recently, I would have said Batman Forever. I felt like I was kind of alone in that, but I feel like more people are giving that. That
would have been my hot take. Like we kind of
Yeah.
got on that, but that would have been my hot take. Batman Forever, Loki, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I think it was maybe Emin said it before, but like that's my first theater Batman. I got the Burger King glasses here, legitimately still with me. Like, but I also think it's like a fun movie, man. Like, yeah, there's some hammy ass performances, but like it's a comic book movie. Sometimes that fits, and so like
So
that's
not
a
Batman
good
though.
example.
What do you got?
Yeah, outside of that one, because I feel like we've talked a lot about that. I'm trying to think real quick. What's
Anyone? Just raise your hand. Anyone have one? Like,
Yeah, anyone
okay,
else?
Will,
I'll
go
think
ahead.
about it.
By JBO sometime. Will, what do you got?
Punisher 2004.
Wait, what did I miss?
Damn. Fuck. I had that.
Okay.
I love.
Hold on, before you talk, I just bought it on my Vudu. I have a tattoo of it because I love the concept of Punisher and I love the series.
Is that Venom also on your arm too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Venom. I mean, it fits
What
with the
did I
theme.
miss?
So I'm the question is, what is your
I have a
Well,
headset.
I don't want to say technically. Yeah, facts. Headset. JPO.
You missed-
We're
you
so
missed it.
mad at him right now. He had it the whole time. So I don't want to say technically underrated. So start thinking right now, Jay. But I don't want to say underrated. But just what is a movie that you want, or a comic book movie that you want to give a shout out? Whether it's underrated, not talked about enough, or just one that just is just fresh
Oh,
on
I
your
got you.
mind. That's not like
100%.
the
I got
mainstream.
you.
But so Will starting now. He just said Punisher 2004. Let's hear it, Will.
I respect that
Punisher
choice.
2004 is just one of those movies for me that I constantly go back to, and I just have a lot of fun with it, if only because for me, it feels like Marvel trying to do an R-rated version of the Count of Monte Cristo in a modern setting. And it's just such a weird way of executing the Punisher that it it really just sinks with me. Like no matter how many times I've watched this movie, it's just such a like they take this vigilante character and turn him in to basically what the Count of Monte Cristo was. He is trying to, he's getting revenge for having his life game taken away from him. So he's going to fuck with he's going to fuck with his villains and then watch them kill each other before he kills them. And it's just so fucking devious. I love it.
Find your own tree, Montega. But my thing about that is there not there's a little bit of a difference there when it comes to that. It's a revenge story, most definitely. The Punisher 2004 is a revenge story, but I think there's a better distinction between what is a revenge story and what is a revenge story and stealing somebody's lover, because that's not what ends up happening.
And that's the one aspect that didn't translate over.
Right.
But after watching the Count of Monte Cristo and watching this, which I did back to back once, it's like there's a lot of similarities.
Does it make a good playback? Like a good double feature?
If you do the one with Guy Pearce, absolutely.
Oh, you're talking the Count of Monte Cristo. Okay. I'm talking about the good Count of Monte Cristo though.
I mean,
it's so subjective.
You can never go wrong with the good Count of Monte Cristo, obviously.
You're right.
Vendetta would have a V would have a saying that.
As only celluloid can deliver.
So my question as I was, not to get graphic, but I
don't hate your answer though, Will.
I was pissing and getting a beer. So my question is though, I was able to hear. Is it more of the Thomas Jane performance / just portrayal of the Punisher, or the script that was relaying that Punisher storyline that separate the Punisher series, both in the series individually and also what we got in Daredevil and also this movie? Or is it one of those where, and also just anything from the comics? So I'm just movie wise, is it the story that we got from this Punisher movie that like really stands out to you, or is it just Thomas Jane where like, I'm not gonna lie, I wish we got fucking more of that guy because he rocked it.
Oh no,
what is it?
Absolutely, we definitely need more Thomas Jane as Punisher. But the way that they did the story just took what could have been at the time, just mediocre comic book film. They could have just phoned something in, but the way that they took the story just elevated the material in such a way that just shocked the hell out of me. Like I probably saw this film about 3 or 4 times in the theater, and I was a broke kid in college,
right,
seeing this movie over and over and
over.
You
gotta show your age multiple times this fucking stream, my guy.
Like we called you out, we doxed you, Will. I did not believe that you were that old, my boy. You got great genes, dog.
Facts.
It really helps, to bathe in the blood of the innocent,
Right.
Just
that's fair. The Vladimir Putin tactic.
One of us. All right, so last question I want to ask.
That's right on my doorstep, huh, Jay?
Okay, cool. Yeah. I know you have a gun, bro. I hope you know how to use it.
Yeah, stay strapped, my guy.
I'm praying for you. I'll come visit you. I'll bring mine. If they let me fly international, I'll bring mine with me.
That's for you, Abel.
This isn't, but the prayers are.
Last question specifically on this topic for Will. Punisher, do you consider it a good movie, a great movie, or just an underrated movie?
Ooh.
If you can only pick one, and I know that's weird, I always do that, but I'm curious.
No, that's a really
side.
good question.
So what is your thoughts? Good, great, or underrated?
For me, I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I actually have to call it a great movie.
Ooh.
I just do.
In one sentence or less, why? Give us your thesis. Why is The Punisher 2004 a great movie?
The script is, the script was, absolutely elevating. Thomas Jane is the Punisher. You're not gonna really beat him. Sorry, John Bernthal.
Okay.
3, the supporting cast. The supporting cast is phenomenal.
Rebecca
in this
Romaine,
movie.
Ben Foster, Kevin Nash.
Ben Foster. Well, I mean, Kevin
Ben
Nash.
Foster's not really Ben Foster in that role.
Like Ben Foster definitely deserves to be Micro. I'm sorry, Will. I didn't mean to.
Travolta's pretty good in that.
Travolta's really great in it.
Yeah.
Like this is the most like villainous I've ever seen Travolta, and I am here for it.
And just like the interactions between Jane and
Nazi
Travolta
bunny.
is electrifying. Like you just
Howard, he's gay.
Howard Saint, right? Saint?
Yeah, Saint.
Let's go, boy. I don't have this on my arm for nothing, even though I'm not the cheapest. But I did just buy it, accepting to give it another chance.
Oh, it's on your Voodoo? I can't wait to watch it again.
And all the Superman movies and all the Batman movies. I just bought Batman 66 and Batman and Robin because
I can't believe you haven't seen Batman 66. That's not
the
what
only one I
now,
haven't
but,
seen.
Like,
That's the only one
I'll admit I haven't seen it either.
Because guess what? Batman has shark repellent the old time, and I'm a shark apparently. So with that said, my next one, Jay.
I'm gonna go Constantine, my boy.
Okay.
Like you gave me exactly what it is that I wanted. You asked me about a comic.
Now I want to pause before you continue. I want to pause and say I haven't seen Constantine, so just avoid giving anything away because I do want to like enjoy it naturally, but it's of why that's your answer still. With that said,
when you all find out it was a dream sequence, don't tell me.
Fuck! It was in hell the whole time.
the entire prospect of an individual who is completely a human being, and I will say this as an individual who has seen the movie multiple times, knows the storyline. I don't think what I'm about to say is a spoiler, but Henry, if you don't want to hear it,
no, that's right. I'm listening. I trust you.
He is an individual who is trapped and has his soul bound to hell because he tried to commit suicide at one point in time in the movie and is trying to do better and trying to help humanity move forward one human being at a time by performing exorcisms, by being this essential paladin between the forces of good and evil, and not even necessarily doing it for the hopes that he will get into heaven one day. This is a story that DC definitely took a chance on in the mid 2000s, and it has
2000.
It's grown in 2005, 2006. It's right. Yeah, it's 2005, 2006. It's right around there. But it, like Keanu Reeves was the iffy one, and then you have Shia Side of Beef as his side character. You have Jaimin Hansu. You have the ancient one. You have a lot of people in this fucking movie.
Peter Stormare.
Shia Side of Beef.
But
But
directed
like,
it? Was it a main director or was it kind of like just a
Francis Lawrence.
No.
Well, I Am Legend, right?
Yeah. And the Hunger Games guy.
Really?
Francis Lawrence.
That is, I'm not saying that's a great filmography. That's an interesting filmography.
It is, but this is one of those more interesting DC type comic book movies that doesn't get talked about a lot because it does deal more with the arcane. It does deal more with the spiritual side of things. And I get that a lot of people could just try to be like, oh, this is just Exorcist 3.5, and they're just trying to update this. and you added Keanu Reeves to it. But the story is great. Rachel Weisz is great in this fucking movie. The entire story behind this is great. Even if you don't know anything about John Constantine,
I don't.
like honestly, even if you don't know about Hellblazer whatsoever, this is an enjoyable movie, and this is one of those movies that should be like, I don't know if I liked it. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rewatch it, and there's gonna be something else that you find out about this movie that you thoroughly enjoy.
So you're
Yeah, the
saying
movie's
like
cool.
if you've never seen it, you highly recommend it. If you haven't watched it in a long time, hey, prioritize it. Go back and watch it. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
I would
Absolutely.
agree.
100%.
I would definitely agree.
So I watched it. I think it was I don't know if it was a TikTok clip or if it was just a random thing, but it was Keanu Reeves, and it was like, hey, you get one movie. What is one movie?
Where it was on
Awesome.
Conan, right?
Yep.
Where he was
And-
on Conan, he was
and
like,
he
I
legit
want
was
to
like,
redo.
I tried.
want to do a second Constantine.
And he
But
legit
that's
said,
the
I
thing.
tried.
He said he tried, and they're trying to make it still.
Because guess what? Just based on
It's
just
Keanu
like general
fucking
knowledge,
Reeves.
it can be yeah, it can work. Like, did you not see Matrix Resurrection? Regardless of what you think of the film, he looked.
I haven't
good.
seen it yet. I haven't
He
seen
looked
it yet.
good though. Like, just look at it. He looks
Yeah.
good, and you know what I mean. And even the upcoming John Wick or even John Wick 3, he looks good. He could.
Yeah.
Motherfucker
he
made
can
Bill
still
and
do a
Ted's face
sequel.
the music. You can
Yeah.
make a fucking Constantine too, bro.
Keanu
Ironically,
Reeves
out
ages,
of all
you know,
of-
Keanu Reeves ages slowly than I do. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's
But the
debatable,
whole run
bro. That's
ages
very
just
debatable.
about as much as you do, Will.
You got Keanu Reeves, Will Cohen, and Paul Rudd. Which
And
one?
Paul
Who's the
Rudd, that's
oldest?
the one.
I don't even know at this point.
probably me.
Ant-Man. Do you have a general, just at this point, just a comic book movie /
Eamon's
superhero
like, I
movie
haven't
that-
said anything in 45 minutes, bro.
Ant-Man's like, I'm playing. What game are you playing?
Let's play Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, Matt. He's like, I'm playing fucking Mortal Kombat on my PS4.
He says
and
I'm getting raped by mids right now.
Hey, it'd be like that
He
sometimes.
said
But
he said Scorpion came through and wrecked my shit. This is
But
what I
it's-
get for
it's-
choosing Shang-Chun.
get over here. It's time for you to press pause. What is the first one that comes to your mind after all of this?
It was Punisher for a second, but I just saw this movie a couple days ago. I know it's a hot take, but it's more. It's not Oscar worthy. It's not going to be freaking
Go with your gut.
amazing
Let's go.
CGI. It's the Phantom.
Ghost Rider 2. Oh wow.
Yeah, you
okay.
love the Phantom.
Okay.
I
This
just feel like
guy
it's
loves
just a
the
movie you
Phantom.
should take for what it is, which is
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
yeah.
Phantom's
Oh,
like a
about-
motherfucker.
Hold on. I want to hear it. I'm curious. Like, go ahead. Antonio.
I just
wanna
think it's
hear
like it's like an homage to like all those old serials. I mean, Billy Zane is actually not bad. Like I would say he's great as the Phantom. So obviously not Oscar worthy. Again, I'm not expecting freaking deep acting, amazing special effects. But for the story,
this gonna sound weird, but it's a two-parter. One, have you seen Titanic?
yes,
Okay, so you know Billy. I know.
Yeah.
I guess it's gonna sound weird. So you know
I've seen Billy
Zane.
Zane in other
So
situations.
you know, I know, but I only know him from two other things. It's kind of for it's a
Zoolander.
no.
Ram it, Billy.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I just watched
Demon
that
Knight.
too.
Really, you don't know Billy Zane from the Winter's Dragon? That
No,
thing that appeared on
motherfucker, no.
FXX
No.
in 2015? So Red
No.
Eagle Entertainment didn't lose the rights to the Wheel of Time series? You fucking asshole.
So my point is,
Yeah, what was the second part?
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen that?
No,
Exactly.
I mean I have. I feel like
Great movie.
I did see. Wait, was there more than one Tales of the Crypt movie?
Exactly.
The movie fucking rocks, and Billy Zane is. I'm not saying he's the best, but he is up there. Like it's
Yeah.
because I think that movie's great. So it's
What
hard
year
to
was
say.
that?
Ram it, Billy.
95, I'm pretty sure.
So Phantom was 96. So.
Yeah. And he was bald during Phantom, right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But did he had like the suits on, right? I'm pretty sure I saw
Yeah,
that.
he had a suit on.
He
and
had a
made it
suit.
look
He's
pretty
bald.
good.
He had the
He's
purple
bald
purple
in
skin tight
Demon
condom.
Knight, so I feel like it was part of the plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was. So with that said, keep going. But I was just curious because like if you're gonna pick a Billy Zane movie, where like if we're really being honest, not many
Yeah.
people are like.
That's another thing where like I was watching it, I'm like, damn, the 90s, and also when it came to like superhero movies in the 90s, like that and The Shadow, and I think even Rocketeer, like the score was like scores were really underrated in the 90s.
How about you with scores today, Antonio? Score, you're a big.
I don't know. I just feel like I really like as much as I love movies, I do love music, but I love music more when it's used well in movies and not just like soundtracks. I mean like orchestral scores. So that's why thinking of like Batman Forever, I love that score. And then even this one, like I was rewatching Phantom like yesterday, and I was like, yeah, the score is like it's not going to be again not Oscar worthy, but it still fits the whole genre, which is like has like the jungle theme and just like again, it's like just like super was it supernatural kind of like powers and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's cool.
Is it James Remar in that movie as well?
James Remar's in the movie. Treat Williams, Christy Swanson, Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, but it's just, again, it's like one of those.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce. I don't want to fuck it up. I just didn't want.
Kerry Hiroyuki Sanada.
Okay, now I know how to say it.
So,
but
is Phantom's one of those like I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I'm guessing. If I looked on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's probably rotten and probably like on the lower end. Would you say it's underrated?
Yeah, I would say it's underrated.
What would you say? It's before its time, or of its time, or just?
No, it's definitely of its time. It's like a '90s thing because then there was a while back when I saw The Shadow, and I'm like, damn, the '90s were like those typical kind of like
the 90s were wild.
Yeah, like pop.
I really liked the
Blank Man, but
it owned it. Like
Orgasmo.
It was like cheesy, but it owned it. Like it didn't take itself too seriously. And that's the point. You're not supposed to take it seriously as a superhero movie. Like I think once Blade happened in the '90s, then superhero movies started getting taken seriously.
Are you a big fan of the first Captain America movie? I'm just curious because like that just sounds like when you think of like mainstream, but also like of its time.
Antonio. Which Captain America one? The one from the '90s?
First Avenger? Oh no!
Nobody talks about that movie. That movie.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just
bro.
saying. Based on what Antonio said, I feel like that was a fair question. He said of the '90s, it's about its time. It's what you expected, and that was in that time. Non-Batman, because Batman is the most popular.
Stop it! Nobody thinks of Nick Fury as a fucking one-eyed ginger. Stop it!
I'm not gonna lie.
Stop.
Just to derail for a second. I grew up on the '90s Spider-Man. When Nick Fury when Samuel Jackson showed up to Nick Fury, I was like, "That's not my Nick Fury," and I've never said that in my life other than that one time, and that was back in fucking 2008 when Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson first popped up. Nick Fury, I'm like, he's supposed to be white, and it had nothing to do with that. It was just the Nick Fury thing, and I was like, oh god.
Phantom is 41% on Rotten
Tomatoes.
Facts. So yes. So would you say it's so? Look at the camera right now and say, hey, you haven't seen Phantom or you haven't seen Phantom in a long time. Watch it now or, hey.
I would say watch it now, but again, just like this is what I always hear.
Temper your expectations or like how would you pitch it? I'm curious because I still haven't seen it. So pitch it to me. Why would I want to watch it?
It's like a cheesy popcorn superhero flick. Don't expect no freaking dark. Okay, sorry, I won't say Dark Knight because Jay's here. But like anything like serious, grounded superhero movie. It's just what it is.
It's like, this. I know this is gonna once again.
Fuck you in your NF hat again, bro. Hashtag Team 21%. But fuck you.
I feel like I'm doing a good job of this tonight. Is the Phantom the comic book equivalency of Zoolander when it comes to comedies? You have to be all in and accepting of what it is, and if you are, it's going to work.
Yes.
Hold on. I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Is that true?
Yeah.
What?
Is that you want to make sure I wasn't lying?
Yeah, no, I really didn't.
Was that a lighter
like,
test?
Wait,
I have nipples, Antonio.
Is that true, or is Mystery Men the movie that you need to fucking just go. Like?
All right, so you got Phantom, you got Mystery Men, and you got a Zoolander. You got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
Let's go. Or smoke a frappuccino.
No, I'm just kidding. Last but not least, Abel. When it comes to like this general conversation, what is the first? Obviously, we've been going on for an hour at this point. What is the first thing that comes to your mind for this?
Also, what was the question again?
Batman vs Superman, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, facts. No, please don't.
Tell me why you're wrong.
When it comes to just generally speaking, superhero movies or comic movies in general, the most popular. So take the first 10 that come out of your mind. Take those out. What is the first thing that comes to your mind and why?
No, but so something that is underrated, right?
Yeah, underrated or just under talked about or just your favorite that other people don't. However you want to phrase it, but yes.
Is Sky High a comic book movie?
No. It's a
But go.
superhero
No.
movie. It is not a comic book. No,
But
it
I'll
is a
accept-
superhero
I'll
movie. It
accept-
is not a comic book movie.
I'll accept it though. I want it.
No, I think
if that
I
was
say
the
make
fir-
him to another
If
one.
that was the first thing that came to his mind, do you hold on?
No,
let me-
I was gonna say X-Men: The Last Stand, but that doesn't count. I think.
No, X-Men: The Last Stand, please.
Yes, please.
As someone who just watched X2, and I'm not allowed to say anything further for ethical reasons, please talk about Last Stand right now.
Last Stand is probably one of the most underappreciated, not underappreciated, but like underrated or overhated. I would say it's overhated.
That is a fair point because trust me, underappreciated, overrated, and overhated are three different things.
Very
or
much so.
underrated. So yes,
Okay, so it is definitely the
overhated is a
most
fair
overhated movie
comic movie.
in the entire X-Men franchise. It gets so much shit
X-Men
where it
Apocalypse,
really
right
doesn't deserve to. And
X-Men
listen,
Origins Wolverine.
yeah, but
I just rewatched that.
but Origins
sorry.
Wolverine is like you can have fun with it, but it's really bad.
Okay, hold on. Once again, I have a point. Will, when you think of X-Men and you think of like the lower tier ones, what is the first one that comes scene that comes to your mind of all the lower tier ones? Whether it's X3, Wolverine, Apocalypse, etc. Dark Phoenix. What is the first scene that comes to your mind? Just one sentence or less. I have a reason. Trust me. Just go with it. Just go
Wolverine.
with your first scene that comes to your mind. I don't care. Pick any of them. The bottom tier X-Men films. The first scene that comes to your mind.
Wolverine fucking up a toilet.
Okay.
Yeah.
JPO.
Shink.
I hate to say, it, but yeah, because somehow the claws got worse too.
Okay.
Like, how do you go back? They were
We
good. in
all
the first
thought of
one.
that scene. We all
Okay.
thought of that.
So now I'm gonna follow up with Jay. Not ironically speaking, just the first that comes to your mind in essentially a good sense. What is the first one that comes to your mind of all the bottom tier X-Men films, Jay?
Like, what is the first
Scene.
positive thing?
Yeah,
A positive thing? Oh shit.
that's what I'm saying. Like not irony. Like obviously, I don't
Well,
mind.
no, like
You know what I'm saying.
if you want me to say something positive about like a negative X-Men movie,
Yeah, technically.
okay,
First thing
I'm
that
not.
comes to your mind. I don't care which one.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, no, because this was what popped into my head, and I was like, well, no, this is more of technically a positive, and it is the blob scene in Origins Wolverine when they're in the boxing ring. Yeah, he's like, "Did you call me blob?" No, I said blob. Like, yeah, that gives you the fucking like that gives you the fucking like comic book funny there, but the entire movie doesn't have any of that, so that scene seems misplaced. But if I was to choose something that was a positive of a movie that I think 95% negatively about, that would be the one thing that I think is positive. Be the first main thing that I think is positive about it.
There you go. Antonio, do you have one out of all the X-Men movies that are quote unquote the bottom tier? What is the first one that comes to your mind in terms of scene wise? What is the first?
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, because I would say the Statue of Liberty fight with Wolverine and Sabretooth and the first X-Men.
Is that really a bottom tier one though?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bottom. I think that's mid at worst.
I think everyone gives like X-Men.
We'll just do a thing in mid. So we're not counting that.
Okay.
So we'll just set it here: Dark Phoenix, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, X3.
Oh, in that case, then Apocalypse. It's the scene where like Apocalypse takes over Xavier's mind and then launches all the nukes in the air.
Okay. And then Abel, what is yours?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say Apocalypse touching a TV and going like learn.
No, it's not bad. I do have one more.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
And this one does come from like the Wolverine, not X-Men Origins Wolverine.
That's still lower mid, but I'll still accept it. So go ahead.
You will die holding your heart in your hands.
But he did.
Is probably no, but what I'm saying is that this is a great scene in a low tier movie.
Yeah,
that is what I am saying.
I'm not judging, but does that scene have that impact without Logan and how it actually
do we have that scene in Logan without that movie?
No, but what I'm saying is that scene by itself, technically it paid off, and kudos to Logan. It did a great job. But
it paid off in the movie itself.
That's fine.
Because,
okay, I'll give it to you. I was just curious.
But he cuts into his own heart and pulls out the fucking
Fucking Watchmen.
little bug thing.
Yeah. He cuts in and pulls out the fucking quote unquote Dr. Poison bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's not what Yukio is talking about. Yukio was, well, as we have all taken it, is talking about him dying at the end of Logan.
Yeah.
But it's such a throwaway scene if you don't think about it and you don't talk about the parallels there. But I think if you do, it becomes such a more powerful scene at that point in time. And you can definitely tell that Henry is watching the fucking director's cut.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Ultimate cut, and I want to drink
Ultimate.
more. JPO, what was your pick?
I was gonna say Ben Foster finally flapping his wings in X3.
Oh,
Warren Worthington the third,
damn
baby.
it, we
It
finally
was
had an
such a
X3.
good like, oh, we're gonna go places with this, and then you never sadly do.
Well, so I want to get to the point of what I was talking about. So like the reason I brought that up is I was curious on like what was the most common like, hey, we don't give a fuck, and I was hoping it was gonna be X3 because at least regardless of what you think of X-Men Origins Wolverine, you can at least say the Civil War or was it World War I, whatever that revolution,
The montage thing.
yeah. That people at least talk about that, regardless of the rest of the movie. People always bring that up and say, "Hey, that's not bad," or at least the Sabretooth thing.
Yeah.
I actually think X-Men Apocalypse is good, let alone not like bad. And then the Wolverine, I don't think it's bad. And then Dark Phoenix, it's just so like, who cares? It's not bad. It's just fucking, I don't care. Who fucking cares? But it's not like offensive technically. Whereas like X3, low key, just who fucking cares? So I was curious to see if Last Stand was even going to get brought up. So that was at the point, full circle of why I even brought that up. I was like, because I feel like on paper, a lot of people are like, X-Men Origins Wolverine is the first one that comes to your mind, but like you're more likely to say a positive things about X-Men Origins Wolverine than you are about Last Stand. So I was just curious to see if that was actually.
I think outside of that montage, though, I don't know if you are like.
Well, what else are you really gonna say positive about X3? So it's
we brought up a couple different moments in X3, and like there's character moments in there. They're never fleshed out for the sake of action. Like you got some Kitty
but that's
Pryde
the thing.
stuff.
At the very end of the movie, you do get. I'm sorry, Jordan. I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. I didn't have much more to say.
You jump in and you do see Magneto stabbed by Beast.
What I love about that
those...
scene is how many needles was he stabbed with again, Antonio?
Shut up.
3? I don't know.
Wait, no, it's 4.
5. Well, I don't know.
Who knows?
Like
but
that's what.
Fuck off, Abel. That was a question for me, and you still fucked up. Ant-Man, did you get asked that question too? I got asked that question in my match.
That was a question you guys got asked? Oh, God.
Yeah, how many fucking times did... Yeah. Anyways, they humanized the most villainous individual that we had in a Marvel movie ever, and then completely took away everything it is that meant his villainy because he was humanized. Yeah. And not just like, by sympathy or anything else. They literally turned him into a human. They took away his mutant power, the one thing that they thought made him special.
Yeah, he discards fucking
Mystique
before that.
Raven.
But then he gets
that.
Yeah,
and then it turns around and it happens to him.
But this is coming from someone who's never read a comic book in his life. So there you go.
So
I'm sorry. You're missing out, bro.
That's actually a good, decent point. Does that translate on screen to like, hey, I feel that impact, or is it one of those where it feels hollow? Abel,
it feels hollow because it never happened in comics.
I know. I'm asking Abel, and like,
to me, it resonates. To me, it resonates totally. Like, I don't know these characters from anything other than the movies. So to me, it's a great follow up to the first 2 movies, and to me, these characters are brought to life really well in the 3rd movie, and it builds upon the first 2. And to me, I don't know, man. I just think it's a fairly good 3rd movie in what has come to be a very topsy-turvy franchise.
All right, so my follow-up question is that you can only pick one couple, regardless of whatever your reasoning is. You only pick one couple. Cyclops and Jean Grey, or Wolverine and Jean Grey? Based on your experience with the movies, which one are you picking? I'm just curious. It's based on.
Is this question going to everybody?
I don't actually.
I'm gonna start with Abel, who is only with movie experience similar to me. So I'm start with him.
I probably Cyclops and Jean Grey. I don't actually give a fuck.
Okay, Will, you can only pick one.
So I'm going with Jean and Wolverine on this one, if only because after rewatching the first one, Scott is such a toxic male in so much of it. It bugs me.
You're a dick, Scott. Yep, that's him.
Sorry, I have to go with it. Sorry.
JPO, which one are you going?
I'll go Wolverine and Jean because it's the more doomed, interesting lovers kind of concept. Like they belong together, kind of, but just too much shit's going on with Wolverine figuring out his shit. Jean's got her fucking Phoenix stuff going on. Like it's that perfect doom. Like man, another time, another place. This would be beautiful, but it just can't be. Another time, girl.
Facts. Wolverine's just trying to rise inside of her ashes. Jay, what's your pick?
My pick is Jean Grey and Jean Grey because Jean Grey with either Wolverine or Scott Summers literally ends with her dead more than 14 times in the comics. No, Jean Grey with Jean Grey. She is a strong, independent woman who don't need no man because when she ends up with a man, she ends up dead.
I don't know if that was just 100% Jay answer or just, hey, it's 2022.
No, that's 100% Jay answer.
Antonio, what do you got?
I say Wolverine because Cyclops in that relationship is just a cuck. So
James Marsden, the movie cuck, bro.
Definition. Sonic's getting more fucking poon than fucking James Marsden.
yeah.
All right, so I want to end it with here just in terms of this specific roundtable. One last thing. When it comes, because just superheroes, just I feel like that's just been a common, it's been a good topic. So
yeah,
when it comes to the upcoming movies, Will, what is the first one? Obviously, so your instincts it might be say the Batman just because it's the most recent, and that's fair. But I just want to say, like, don't just think that just because of recent. So think of just your general, legitimate hype. What is the one comic movie, even if it's just like in production or just in like talks?
Mhm.
What is the one you're most hyped about?
I know that there's at least 2 people on here who are gonna give me shit about this. I just don't give a fuck. The Marvels. I need this movie in my life. Something fierce.
The what?
The Marvels. It's the Captain Marvel sequel where they're bringing in Miss
Kamala Khan.
Marvel. I want this movie so bad. I wanted this 2 years ago. This is going to be a great movie.
What on a scale of 1 through 5, what did you give what would you give Captain Marvel?
I stand by Captain Marvel. I give it at the very least a 4, if not 4.5. It's not a perfect movie.
That's great.
He didn't say that.
That makes sense.
He said out of 5, motherfucker.
Woo! Damn.
I stand by it. I understand why some people don't like it. I stand by it.
Yeah, I will give you this. If I had to pick one, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman 1984, I'm picking Captain Marvel. So I will give you that.
Yeah, if I had to watch if I had to watch Wonder Woman 1984 again, I'd rather just slit my wrists.
JPO,
on the block, not across the street, bro.
JPO. Out of all of the upcoming comic book / superhero movies that are just in inception or like in mind that are legitimate and not fanfic,
Inception.
what is your most hype?
I mean, maybe it's the boring answer. It's the one that we kind of came in talking about, but I'll go with the Batman. We're not building off any other legacies that we know of, so it seems like a different kind of route with some of these characters, some great actors. So, as much as I'd love, I'm down for seeing Michael Keane again and this, that, and the other. But I'm down to see where we're kind of going with this. It's a good director. I'm excited.
There you go, Jay. I am really.
Oh, also Hellboy 2 was my answer for the question 3 questions ago.
Absolutely.
Love Hellboy 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Great movie that's not always given credit.
Amazing movie.
I love Prince Nuada. Check out last Ring stuff. I really hype Hellboy 2. It's my second favorite Del Toro.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, I love it.
Jay, what is your what's your pick?
I got 3. And it's
one,
really
I gotta go to
it's
bed.
really hard. That's fine, Abel. Don't worry. The sun's gonna continue to come up. Fucking calm down. World War III hasn't technically started yet.
Nice. Keep going.
This is Russian nukes that you're seeing here.
No,
they're
no.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
Fair.
Thor: Love and Thunder, and Black Adam.
So you just
Oh,
essentially
nice. You
just read off the most upcoming superhero movies. That's fine.
Oh,
Pick
I'm
one.
sorry. Did we not just ask what are we most hyped for? All right, whatever.
Yeah, I said one.
Jay is a shill.
I'm a shill. Yeah, I'm a shill, bro.
Okay, so of the three, you only get to actually elaborate on one. Pick one.
Black Adam. And it's not necessarily because The Rock is playing Black Adam, but it's because I actually thoroughly enjoyed Shazam, probably more than a lot of people did. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Billy Batson and Zachary Levi both combat The Rock. Who is just so charismatic that you're not just hoping that he wins just based off of his pure fucking charisma alone. It doesn't matter what you think about Black Adam.
So this is gonna sound ignorant. I swear to God, I'm not trolling. Shazam is in the Black Adam movie. I did not know that.
No, it's 74 in the 50s, I think, right? The 40s.
I think they're gonna end up meeting in another movie.
They're gonna end up meeting. They're gonna end up meeting in another movie.
So you're
but
just
the thing about it is Black Adam is Shazam's largest villain.
Okay, so
that's what I'm going for.
That's interesting. I don't have any doubt of it because like I follow The Rock just obviously on some fitness Instagram.
Also,
stuff
I'm sorry, you add a man with melanin into the 1950s and you're not getting the movie that I think you're getting.
Fair. Antonio, what's your pick?
I think at the moment it's honestly a tie between Doctor Strange and Jurassic World Dominion.
You considering that superhero? Dinosaurs a superhero? Okay, go ahead. Go Jurassic World now. You can only pick Jurassic World now because let's go. That was the first.
You can only pick Jurassic World now.
Go ahead. Why is that?
I thought I fucked up and Ant-Man fucked up.
Yeah, why is that better than every future superhero movie?
Because they say this is like epic conclusion, which kind of makes me sad. But also, Jurassic Park is the first movie I ever saw in life. So to see everyone brought back, and I hope
is that your number one. I'm just curious.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's on my list though.
Okay,
like, I need to.
I was just curious. I was like, that's actually a big deal.
Yeah, but
it's on his list though.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to see how they're gonna bring everyone back, and also I'm sure I just really didn't really like Fallen Kingdom, so therefore I really want this to be a good.
Not many people did, guy. You're not alone.
I really want this to be a good send off if it is the last one. So
Alan, Abel, to close us out here.
I'm glad nobody said mine. I want to watch Morbius.
Oh God,
you're the only one here, bro.
So before you start, I will say nothing to do with the trailers and just the concept. I just actually really love Morbius as a character. So yes, I agree with you, but not for what the movie has pitching. Just like I'm just curious on the concepts. But why is your reasoning?
I think it's great that Jared Leto is getting a second go at a comic book character because
he's gonna suck.
He got very hard done by in Suicide Squad. I think the movie's pitching sort of like a horror-esque comic book movie. I love horror. And also, it's got Michael Keaton's Vulture in it. No, is it?
I really think that's literally going to be a throwaway cameo, but like, I'm cool with that. Even though it's spoiled in the trailer, I'm still cool.
I love Sony fucking up Disney and just making it all a
Sony is the equivalent to anarchy when it comes to studios.
I'm ready for this all to implode slowly. So yeah,
all right, Jay. I don't want your arm to get tired.
Excited.
My whole thing is I really hope that the entire Morbius movie is a 7.5 minute trailer for Blade, where you go in and you pay $17 and you go in and you pay $17 to watch this movie, and it's 7.5 minutes, and it's Morbius doing his whole little fucking thing as a fucking psychic vampire, and then Blade comes out of nowhere and it's Mahershala Ali who just cuts the fucking shit
No,
out of Jared
he's
Leto.
Michael Morbius for the first hour and a half, and then he's for the last
I don't
7
give a
minutes.
fuck. I want this movie to be 7.5 minutes, bro.
Then he's more for the last 7.5 minutes. Then he's an actual vampire. But for the first 90
And then
minutes,
as
he's
his
the
head
cripple
flies off,
with
as
his
his head
cane.
flies off into this bullshit 3D experience that everybody seems to love for some fucking reason, even though it's overhyped and overdone at this point in time. It hits the screen, boom, blood trickles down, and we get Blade.
Morbius won't return.
Cum shots, credit.
Oh no, hold on. Morbius won't return. ...
But Blade
Blood
will.
trickle down, but Blade will.
Hey.
Fire, I'm coming.
You see, Jay,
Way to shit on the movie. I'm excited for, boys.
Anytime,
Yeah,
baby.
I don't give a
Anytime.
fuck.
The trailers did it for us, so don't worry about that.
Yo, the actor did it for us. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? They cast Jared Leto as Morbius.
Did Jared Leto
Jared Leto's a great actor.
Did
Okay.
Jared
But
Leto
he's a superhero. He's
did
not
Jared
a-
Leto eating all those condoms from Suicide Squad turn him into Michael Morbius? Is that what turned him into
No,
Michael.
it was the Tide Pods that he ate. The
Facts.
last good movie that Jared Leto was in was Lord of War. That's not a fucking that's not a conversation. That's not a fucking argument.
Dallas, if you haven't
Stop.
seen it, that's
Stop.
fine.
Stop.
Dallas
I've
Buyers Club
seen it,
fucking
and I
slap.
know what I said.
Yeah, Dallas Buyers
I know what I
Dallas
said.
Buyers
I know
Club
what
is
I
a
said.
banger. No,
Hey,
no,
Jay.
fuck
Jay.
off. Dallas Buyers Club is a banger.
Yeah.
Will,
Jay,
what do you got?
I wouldn't call
to
Dallas
fuck- to
Buyers
fuck-
Club a banger.
I-
That seems pretty insensitive.
Yeah, dick to dick, banger.
Jay, I want your version of Morbius. If only we get to see Mahershala Ali deliver the line. There's always a motherfucker trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah,
With
baby, let's
With
go.
that said, my name is Henry Confidential. That was Jordan Pierce Owens. That was Will Cohen. That was Abel DeLu, Antonio Chavez, and Jay Burns on an episode of Confidential Roundtable that happened to be a 2-hour version of an hour technical long show that I honestly think was awesome. Like this
It was great.
This was a
This
banger.
episode went fucking. I miss Roundtable.
What a banger.
It's
These are-
Ant-Man's 17th word this episode.
Like
It
literally,
was a
when we started this, people were like, "I don't know if we want to go live," and no one questioned it ever since because of the concept of
I
it.
didn't get a chance. I was 13 minutes in and I read a Coen Brothers review.
It is so chill. So with that said, shout out to you guys. Always sign up for a roundtable because I just love the concept. If we're gonna talk movies, might as well go live and just have the memory to watch it back whenever we want. Henry Confidential, Jordan Pierce Owens, Will Collins, Jay Burns, Antonio Chavez, and Abel DeLu. We are out.
Peace.